We are the force. We are Minnesota.
Last night, the pitching woes continued for the Minnesota Twins, this time at the hands and bats of the Cincinnati Reds. They pounded out 20 hits on their way to a 15-9 win, extending the Twins' losing streak to 8 games. And from Target Field, a gorgeous day for baseball as the Twins hope to end that losing streak in Game 2 with the Cincinnati Reds. And it is a beautiful day for baseball at Target Field. Dick Bramer along with Justin Morneau for this game against the Cincinnati Reds. Time for the Twins to win a ball game. And they'll have to do it in trying to control one of the hottest hitters suddenly in the National League, Joey Votto, who got off to a slow start, but now he looks like the MVP caliber Joey Votto.
He did, and you saw it in his at-bats last night. He reached base 6 times. Anytime the guy in front of you gets hit after he hits a home run, or you get hit after the guy in front of you hits a home run, sometimes that can wake you up a little bit, and there's not really a whole lot more satisfying than getting hit in the leg and then hitting a home run against the same team in the same game. So he did that last night. Hopefully they'll find a way to keep him off the bases and get him out tonight.
Well, the Twins have lost 8 games in a row. The pitching has been the main culprit. One thing that we've seen here over the 8 games is some of the hitters are starting to get some traction, including Logan Morrison.
And you could see it. Logan had some great swings in Tampa. New York was a little different, but last night he had a great 9-pitch at bat. He goes through, he fouled off some tough pitches, a guy throwing 95, 96. He fouled off 97 on the black. He was getting locked in, and you could see it coming from that at bat. And that's the pitch right there, the one that's tough, and he fouls it off, and all of a sudden he gets something over the big part of the plate, and he doesn't miss it. Right down the middle, barrels it, running hard out of the box, ball goes over the fence. He feels good about himself after the review, sitting in the dugout. You can see some smiles, and hopefully that helps him relax and do some good things for the rest of the year.
9 runs should be enough to win a ball game. It wasn't last night because the Twins didn't pitch very well at all. Jake Odorizzi will take the ball today, hoping to end a losing streak and who knows, maybe even start a winning streak.
to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep brand lineup at the Jeep Spring Sales event.
Back at Target Field, game 2 between the Twins and the Reds. The matchup on the mound features a pair of pitchers that are 1-2 on the season so far. Sal Romano goes for the visitors. He's a 24-year-old in his second year in the big leagues. For the Twins, it's Jake Odorizzi. Came over from Tampa. He's off to a fast start and lately has had some struggles as the Twins look to end their losing streak today against a Reds team that's starting to hit the baseball. Let's take a look at Odorizzi. He came over from Tampa and got off to a great start with the Twins. First couple of starts, the numbers were terrific. ERA in the low 2s. Good amount of innings pitched. Looked like a pitcher that could be a real anchor there. Last couple of starts, ERA up over 8, and the innings pitched is certainly something to be concerned with today as the Twins, after having their bullpen decimated last night, will need him to go deep into this game. He talked about the transition to a new team and the chemistry you have to build with those catchers.
I feel very comfortable. Me and Castro worked well together. Even in spring training, he caught a lot of my bullpen just to get a feel. Same thing with Garver. So he catches all my bullpens in between starts, just so I kind of work with both catchers, get a feel for them. Just still being relatively new, so it's good to work with those guys on a daily basis, and that's the way you build a rapport.
Mitch Garver behind the plate, and the Cincinnati Reds, the challenge today. They've scored 42 runs in their last 5. Odorizzi looks to slow them down and get the Twins in the win column. First pitch is next.
Minnesota. Early playoff exits for the Wild and Wolves, paired with a sluggish start for the Twins, has Minnesota fans frustrated. The good news is baseball is a long season, and there's still plenty of time for the Twins to turn things around. The bats have been showing signs of life, and the time is right to stop an 8-game skid. The Reds and Twins tussle in Game 2 from Target Field. To put it another way, it is too good of a day for a good baseball team to lose, and that's what we tend to forget. Prior to the 8-game losing streak, the Twins were considered to be a good baseball team. 8 losses in a row has changed the perception of this team in the short term, and now Jake Odorizzi taking the mound here, hoping to end a 8-game losing streak. There's Jim Riggleman. Had a chance to talk with him today. He was a big Washington Senators fan and was disappointed. We're talking about the original Washington Senators in the late 50s, and he was disappointed, of course, when that team came to Minnesota. But he was very aware of the Killebrews and Allisons and Kotz and Pasquales as a boy. The Menards batting order for the Reds. Jesse Winker leading things off. Then the shortstop, Jose Peraza, Joey Votto, Scooter Gennett, Eugenio Suarez, Scott Schebler, Adam Duvall, Devin Mesoraco, the backup catcher, and Billy Hamilton will hit 9. The home furniture close-up look at Jake Odorizzi, who twice this year, Justin, has given the Twins 6 good innings, and that's what they're hoping to get from him today.
And I think that's what he's hoping to get from himself, too. I think anytime the starting pitcher goes out there, they know when there's been a long game, they know when the bullpen's been overused, and they know when there's something expected of them. And he knows that the Twins need him to pitch deep into this game today, and I think that's what we're all hoping for.
The Twins will have a little bit of a different look out in the field. On the Northland Ford defensive alignment, it's Rosario, Kepler, and Grossman in the outfield. No changes there, but Miguel Sano not in the starting lineup. We'll talk more about that a little later. Eduardo Escobar, A-Ray Adrianza, Brian Dozier, Logan Morrison in the infield. Joe Mauer, the designated hitter. And Mitch Garver behind the plate. And Adrianza's done a nice job seeing maybe a little more time at short than we thought at the start of the year. He's done a nice job defensively, and he gets a chance to make another start there today. And the challenge now for Odorizzi is to have some nice, tidy, orderly innings, put some zeros up early, let the Twins lineup hopefully produce some runs, and then hang in there for a while because the bullpen is pretty depleted. Winker at the plate, leading things off. And there is strike one in the outside corner. Winker doing fine with an average over 300. He'll be followed by Peraza and Votto. Foul back, and it's 0-2. Odorizzi with 1 win, 2 losses. The losses coming in his last 2 starts in San Juan against the Indians and in New York against the Yankees. A total of 9 2/3 innings, 9 earned runs, and 5 home runs allowed. So yeah, he hopes to pitch well, but part of that, a big part of that, is keeping the ball in the ballpark. And a half swing, strike 3. That's his strikeout pitch, and hitters both right-handed and left-handed have a hard time laying off that fastball that's up out of the strike zone.
And a guy with a good breaking ball like he's got, when you're able to elevate like that, you get chases down in the zone and up in the zone. You get chases on the high fastball, you get chases on the breaking ball in the dirt, because they come out at the same plane, out of the same arm slot, and it's tough as a hitter to tell the difference until it's too late, and you end up committing halfway like he did there, and you see a good start, good strikeout right there to get the game going.
Jose Peraza will bat next for Cincinnati. And down and away, ball 1. Odorizzi acquired from the Rays for a minor league shortstop prospect, Germain Palacios. Popped foul. It'll reach the seats. 1-1. The thought was the starting rotation would be a position of depth, reliability, stability, and over this 8-game losing streak, it's been anything but that.
Well, and I think it still will be. I think the guys have routines, their days in between starts, their workouts, everything's been so thrown off with the snow, and guys pitching on a lot more rest than they're accustomed to, and then throw in that trip to San Juan in the middle of it. You go from pitching in 25 degrees to pitching in 90 degrees or 85 and humid, and then all of a sudden you go back up to New York, it's cold again. Hopefully this stretch here at home, where the weather's starting to warm up and the guys will settle in, and second time at home, second home stand, guys are settled into their houses, their apartments, whatever it is, and now they're getting into a routine, and hopefully it shows on the field.
Well, a good start for Odorizzi with a couple of strikeouts. 2 down in the first inning, and let's find Kevin Gord.
Thanks, Dick. It's time for our Pizza Ranch for the win. We talked to Paul Mauer earlier today about some of the keys behind the scenes for a team to break out of a long losing streak. Paul Mauer said you have to rely on your leaders. Leadership is key in times like this. He said you have to stay in the moment. Don't think about what's happened. Focus on the next thing you have to do. And he said most importantly, the guys that got to smile and bring the energy. It brings everybody up, and a lot of times it's contagious.
Well, thank you, Kevin. You know, and you were part of winning streaks and losing streaks. Here's Votto. Looks like the Twins are actually going to get him out. Fly ball to center. And it is the left fielder, Rosario, making the catch, and Odorizzi has a 1-2-3 first. Paul Molitor hoping that the team can put together a winning record and establish some home field advantage this year, and that can start today. Here's the Menard batting order. Brian Dozier followed by Joe Mauer, the DH, then Rosario, Escobar, Kepler, Grossman, Morrison, Garver, and Adrianza. They're all getting their first look at our home furniture profile of starting pitcher Sal Romano.
Here's a guy who throws pretty hard. He can run it up there like most of the guys in today's game, but I think a lot of fastballs early. You guys have to be ready to attack that strike zone early. Big part of the plate.
And Dozier takes a strike on the outside corner.
Lower part and the upper part aren't good, but if you get something early, right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters have had success off of his fastball in the zone.
There's a high fly to left. Running towards the line is Duvall. And crossing the line, he makes the catch one away. Northland Ford defense for the Cincinnati Reds. Adam Duvall is in left field. Billy Hamilton in center. Jesse Winker is in right. Suarez at third, just off the disabled list. Peraza, Jeanette up the middle. Votto at first, and Mesoraco behind the plate. One down, and now the Twins' designated hitter Joe Mauer. Mauer walked 3 times in the ball game last night. And yeah, the Twins scored 9 runs. That should be enough to win a ball game. But throughout the 8-game losing streak, run scoring has at times been ample enough to win and win comfortably. The Twins in the 8-game losing streak have allowed 74 runs.
And that's not going to win you a whole lot of ball games. But you know, I mean, we can keep going back to this, but every team goes through stretches like that. Sometimes you don't pitch, and sometimes you don't hit, and sometimes you don't do both at the same time, and very rarely are you doing both well at the same time. So
Chopper right side. Jeanette charges, and from one glove to the other, Jeanette to Votto, 2 away, and that'll bring up Rosario.
And as a player, you can't control what the pitching staff's doing or whatever else is going on. You just worry about going out there trying to have quality at bats. If we give up 8 runs, that means we got to score 9. If we give up 10, we got to score 11. That's just the way it works, and you can't complain or point fingers, and that's when you start to get in trouble. And as long as the guys stay together and continue to believe in each other, because it is a good starting staff. The bullpen was improved. They made some good additions, and the bullpen will be a strength of this team. They just need to keep playing and keep staying together and playing for each other, and I think they're going to be all right.
Here's Eddie Rosario, hit a late home run in the ball game last night. Flips the first pitch foul over the Cincinnati dugout.
As tough as that game was last night, our guys got a lot of at-bats. it looked like there was a lot of quality at bats, and some guys did some good things that have been struggling lately. So hopefully that'll get them rolling.
Fly ball, short center field. Hamilton starts back, now comes in. And each starting pitcher has a quick 1-2-3 first inning.
Saturday afternoon, time for some scoop from the clubhouse. Talk about a couple of injured players. We'll start with Byron Buxton. Hairline fracture in his toe. No timetable. They don't think it's going to be a long-term situation. They're going to take it day by day, get some evaluations and see where he's at, but certainly a setback there with Buxton. For Miguel Sano, had a hamstring issue last night during the game. Did not want to come out of the game. They wanted to give him some rest. They don't think it's very serious at all, but a day of rest with the hamstring for Sano today. Two key cogs guys not in that lineup right now as the Twins try to get back in the win column.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Not unexpected news regarding Buxton, given that it just wasn't getting any better. You know, he fouled a ball off the big toe of his left foot when he was in Fort Myers getting some at bats. The hope was he was going to join the club in New York on Wednesday and just pick up this season and move on. And fouled the ball off the big toe. X-ray showed no break, but the MRI did show a hairline fracture. Now that sounds painful, and it is. Sounds ominous, and it might not be. He's already a week removed from when it happened. And what they hope will happen is that by the end of this homestand on Wednesday, 4 or 5 more days, that he may be able to be fitted with some sort of a padded shoe or something that will allow him to run. He can run straight forward. The problem comes when he tries to cut, which of course you have to do when you run the bases. And so
the outfield and
yeah, swinging on a foul back. So the hope is that broken bone's not a good thing to have, but that he'll be able to play as soon as the pain is tolerable, and then the bone will heal over time while he's playing. Yeah,
and I think that's an injury I dealt with early in my career. I showed up to spring training with a broken toe and Gardy, and you know, there's a lot of people who weren't very impressed with that, but end up and it was just a
pop up to the right side. Morrison, Dozier, and it is Dozier with the catch, one away.
It was one of those just freak accidents that happened. Ended up with a broken toe, and they told me I had to stay off it, I think, for a week. And what I ended up doing was putting in a metal plate in the bottom of my shoe, and it stopped that toe from bending and helped take the pressure off of it. And obviously my game wasn't dependent on speed like Byron's is. I mean, a lot of his value comes from what he does defensively, and you need him to be able to go out there and run down baseballs and do what he can do. Best defensive player in baseball last year. So you want to make sure he's right before you put him back out there. But there are things they can do to help him play with that and hopefully speed up the process a little bit.
Now you're removed from your playing career. Are you at liberty now to tell us how you broke your toe?
Well, I don't think the person who did it would be very happy with me, but
well, see, now I'm really interested. Was it baseball related?
No. It was a fellow former teammate who we were just getting ready. It was 2 days before spring training, and we were having some people over at the house and just kind of goofing around. I wasn't really doing anything.
Grounder, nice stop behind the bag. Escobar comes up firing. What a play! That ball bounced right over the bag, and a nice backhanded play by Eduardo Escobar.
That's why he's as valuable as anybody on this baseball team. He can move around the diamond. Wherever you put him, you know you're going to get solid defense. He's going to make some great plays for you, and he's going to give you a good at-bat every time he goes up there. He's a very important baseball player on this team.
All right, well, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No,
our viewers are really intrigued, though, right now about who broke Justin Morneau's toe with some tomfoolery before camp began.
Well, I was standing there, and he just pushed me from behind, just kind of goofing around. I wasn't looking, and I caught my toe on the carpet.
The drive to right center and deep off the bat of Kepler, and that ball is gone off the facing of the second deck. And the Cedar Rapids, Iowa native, who has a lot of friends and family here this weekend, absolutely clobbers one to make it 1-0 Cincinnati. He's got his section of fans behind the Reds dugout. Said he's talked with them this morning. There's a breaking ball that's just crushed.
It's known as a hanging breaking ball, and I think Jake would like to have that one back, but he hit that ball well. And as a guy who didn't have a home city for Major League Baseball, every time we went to Seattle, it was always so much fun to see friends and family come down. And I remember my first career 2-home-run game was in Seattle, and hit a ball, and all my buddies were there, and they were celebrating. They were going crazy, and I could hear them as I was rounding the bases. I'm sure it's a similar feeling for Kepler, for this being the closest Major League team to him.
Got aunts and uncles up here in the Twin Cities. Fouled back. Said he would come up typically a couple times a year around Christmas time. Spent a lot of time at the Mall of America and enjoyed coming to Minnesota. Maybe never even imagining that he'd be playing baseball at Target Field, but a nice moment for the Cedar Rapids Prairie alum. It's 1-0 Cincinnati, and the count is 1-1 to Duvall. To short right, and hustling in is Grossman to put it away. A home run for Kepler. It's 1-0 Cincinnati. That he was perceived as being a cleanup hitter, but Eduardo Escobar is hitting cleanup because he's been swinging the bat like a cleanup hitter.
But he's so, like we said, on the defensive side of the ball, offensively too. It's amazing what he's able to do. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he is strong, and when he hits that ball, it goes as far as any of the big boys, that's for sure. So he's a valuable part of this team.
And he takes low, ball 1 leading off the second. He'll be followed by Max Kepler and Robbie Grossman.
And I remember when we traded Lariano for him, the guys in Chicago were telling me, you're going to love this guy. You're going to love it. He brings such a great energy. He's positive. He shows up to play every day. And he was a young guy, and I think he was still getting his feet wet at the beginning there. But you can see the player that he's turned into, and it ends up being, I think, one of the quality trades that the Twins have actually made. When you look at it in the long run, how much time they had left on Lariano's deal and everything else, and where we're at as a team, and to turn it into a player that's really been valuable to this team for the last few years has been a really good move.
Checked his swing, we think. Well, Robin Ventura went so far as to say the clubhouse in Chicago was never the same after the trade. That's no reflection on Lariano, but this guy was as popular in Chicago as he's become here. He's a clubhouse leader. And
he is
very vocal.
And he's one of those guys that, and sometimes baseball is so different than many other sports. Obviously in hockey you have the European guys, but there's not as much of a language barrier. But you have kids that sign when they're 16 years old out of Venezuela, out of Dominican, and there's such a language barrier there that.
Lifted over by the tarp and out of play.
And he brings that value of, he brings the English-speaking guys and the Spanish-speaking guys kind of together. He bridges that gap and sort of joins that team, and I think there's so much value in that, because sometimes it's not a true team when everyone's kind of in their own little cliques or in their own little areas, and when you get everyone together, you get everyone going in the same direction. That's when you really have a true team, and he's important for that.
And another foul, having a great at bat here to start the second inning. Hey, as in a condensed form, we understand the statute of limitations from teammate to teammate is 10 years, and we're not past that yet. So what happened when you broke your toe?
So he pushed me from behind. I caught my toe on the carpet.
There's a called third strike. Escobar thought it was a ball 4. And Escobar with some exchange with home plate umpire Tom Woodring.
Yeah, that's tough when you grind through an at bat like that and you feel like you took a close pitch and it doesn't go your way. You end up going back to the dugout, and you probably end up going back to the video and seeing if what you think is right or not.
I believe in the box. I think the box had that ball right on the corner.
It's unhittable. You're not really going to do much other than foul it off like you did the other pitches.
One down, and here's Kepler. All right, finish the story.
Already? So at the time I didn't really feel it. I might have had a little couple of drinks that numbed the pain a little bit, but I woke up the next morning and my toe blew up like a balloon, and I was getting ready to leave for spring training the next day. I thought to myself, this is not exactly the way you want to show up trying to make a baseball team, and got an x-ray. It shows up it's broken, and they told me stay off it, no activity. But I was tracking pitchers. I was out on the field, and I went out to hit off Joe Mays, and they said, okay, whatever you do, don't swing. So I go out there, and Joe Mays is pitching. You know, in spring training, when you have it, usually the pitcher pitches with the out screen to protect himself from getting hit with a line drive. Well, I go up there and I decide I'm going to swing. After I was told not to, I hit a ball off Joe Mays' shin. So then I read the riot act for the second time in the first week of spring training, because I almost knocked one of our starting pitchers out. And it was just not a good start. It's amazing I started that year in Rochester.
3-2 to Max Kepler, trying to get aboard and get Romano to pitch from the stretch. The ball jammed, and Romano off the mound flips. 5 men faced, 5 men retired, 2 down, and now Robbie Grossman. Grossman had a good night at the plate as he's trying to dig his way out of an early season slump.
I think the thing I've noticed with these Cincinnati pitchers so far, and it's as much the catchers as anything, they're trying to pitch inside. They're trying to establish that inside part of the plate, especially with 2 strikes. They're trying to not let the hitters get extended, and we've seen that so far last night and today.
Up and away to Grossman, ball 1. Another foul. Been a lot of those here in the early going against Romano. Grossman, as we said, done a nice job. 6 for 8 over his last 2 games.
He's getting some consistent playing time, and he's seen a lot of pitches, and he's out there. He looks starting to look a lot more comfortable.
Inside, and it's 2-1. Given the situation surrounding Byron Buxton, getting more time in the field.
I think sometimes it's hard to DH when you don't have that rhythm of the season going yet, and it's cold, and you don't feel as loose, and sometimes it feels like you're pinch hitting 4 times, and to get out there in the field, feel like you're in the rhythm of the game. Sometimes as a DH, you're 0 for your first 2 or 0 for your first 3, and you feel like you haven't contributed at all to the game. And when you play defense, you can make a play, you can throw a guy out, whatever you do, you feel like you're still helping your team.
Sharply hit, knocked down by Jeanette, and he makes the play to Votto. Flipped it up in the air on the backhand side, and ended up making the play in a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings for Romano on a 1-0 Cincinnati lead. On Fox Sports North is brought to you by visitbuyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. A beautiful spring day. The Reds are leading 1-0 on to the third, and the first pitch from Odorizzi's up and away to Devin Mesoraco. Billy Hamilton and Jesse Winker will follow. Dick Bramer, Kevin Gorg, Justin Morneau. Happy to be bringing you Twins baseball. Fouled back. And the count's 1-1. High pop-up. Morrison, the only infielder on that side of the infield, tracking it across the line, and the wind is still blowing from the north, and it helped push that ball into foul territory, 1 away. May 15th is Scrubs Night at Target Field. A limited number of Scrubs Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Twins branded scrub pants. Go to twinsbaseball.com/scrubs to learn more about the Scrubs Night theme night offer.
Make a great birthday present for myself and Brian Dozier right there.
Really? Is that your birthday?
Both of ours, yeah, and George Brett.
Really?
And Josh Beckett. And Brandon Barnes.
All right, what about non-baseball people? You know any? For instance, I have the same birthday as Justin Bieber.
I did not know that. See,
yeah, there's no
we
reason.
have more in common. Canadian C. And
yeah, Canadian, right? Yeah. 1-0 and a swing and a miss, 1-1. Well, happy birthday in advance of that. It's a few weeks away, and you'll be how old?
37.
Okay.
Hamilton bunted it. He's out. The ball hit him when he was out of the box, and he knows it. Threatened to do it throughout the ball game last night, and he bunted the ball, and he came up and got him on the back of the leg after he left the batter's box.
And I think the Twins are fortunate that hit him, because that would have been a tough play if that ball stayed fair for Garver to come out and get him. Runner block, so you got to create an angle for yourself, so he'd have to take a couple more steps towards the middle of the field to give himself an angle, so he didn't hit him in the back. So that was a good break right there for the Twins.
2 down in the third, and now Jesse Winker struck out swinging on a check swing his first time up. Now we should update you, because our viewers, because you were with us last night on the telecast, and you're going to be doing a handful of telecasts this year. But you live in the Twin Cities, right? I mean, you and Krista and the family enjoying the retired life in Minnesota.
Yeah, we're here full time, so picked a long winter to come back to, but we had a hockey rink in the backyard, and everything was good. And
I learned a lot of things about you when Fox Sports North promoted your broadcast debut yesterday. You raise your own chickens, you garden, you make your own maple syrup. I mean, you're a man of the land.
I try to be. It was passed down from my mom and even my dad a little bit, and grandparents and everyone else. So they were from my grandparents on my mom's side from Medicine Hat, Alberta. So there a lot of farming going on there, but it was
fouled away.
It was something that always interested me, and you know, when you're retired, you need these hobbies. So I found some things that I was interested in, and I realized that I created a lot of work for myself.
Okay, and yet you can do all these things, and you know, tip my cap to you. You can do all those things, and you can't keep score of a baseball game.
Well, there's always things you can learn, right?
2 strikes. And a high drive to left center field. A long run for Kepler in the gap. He gets there. And Odorizzi has his second 1-2-3 inning. Up with 1 swing, and there are encouraging signs that he'll be hitting a few more home runs now after getting another one last night.
And he hit that single hit might be the hardest ball he hits all year. 113 miles an hour off the bat. Almost took down that right field wall. It's a good sign of things to come for him, because we need him for sure.
Morrison, Garver, and Adrianza with the starter Sal Romano not allowing a base runner yet. This one hit well to left field. Duvall is going back, and short of the track makes the catch. 1 down.
If we had that wind we had last night, maybe we would have, ball might have carried over his head the way it was going last night. Unfortunately, today the ball's not doing the same as it was yesterday, but another promising sign. He takes a tough pitch and drives it the other way, and hopefully he's starting to really feel comfortable up there.
One down in the third, and now Mitch Garver. And a fastball on the outside corner. Earlier we talked about Odorizzi needing to eat up some innings, and twice he's pitched 6 innings. Well, Romano did that in his last start against the Braves. And as lopsided as the score was at the end last night, it's important to remember that the Reds went to their bullpen in the 2nd inning last night. So they're in a similar situation. Jim Riggleman would love to see Romano give him at least 6 innings again here today.
And sometimes with those young pitchers, you never really know what you're going to get. Sometimes they can go out there and give you 7, 8 quality innings and look like they're ready to win a Cy Young, and then the next time out they go 2, and you're sitting there scratching your head. But you remember that it's all part of the learning process, and with the team rebuilding like them, they're going to give him every opportunity. And you know, he's got good stuff. He's got above average, you know, velocity on his fastball. He's got enough breaking stuff to get guys out. You just wonder how long it's going to take for all this rotation of these Cincinnati Reds to actually gel and come together and do what they're capable of.
Strike on the outside corner. 3-2 now to Garver with Adrianza on deck. That's to the right field corner. And a fair ball. It'll be an extra base hit for Mitch Garver. First Twins base runner, with Garver going to the opposite field to pick up an extra base hit.
That's a nice piece of hitting right there. The pitch before he threw out there, and I mean that's probably going to get called a strike after the pitch before he saw. So he knew that he had to go out there and protect the plate. He shortens up his swing, a little 2-strike approach, and drives the ball the other way, puts it in play, and gets rewarded with a double, and hopefully get a little something going right here.
Tying run at second, 1 down, and now Adrianza. Showing bunt and taking ball 1. Adrianza, of course, a switch hitter. Just 2 singles in 16 at bats from this side of the plate.
He had a quality at bat last night to end the ball game. Obviously the result wasn't there, but he saw a lot of pitches, and hopefully that carries over today.
Fouled back. One and one. Jim Riggleman promoted from bench coach to manager when the Reds dismissed Brian Price. I don't think anyone in their right mind thought it was Brian Price's fault that the Reds got off to a slow start. Foul back, 1-2.
And you see it all the time. You can't change the whole team, so you end up changing the manager and hope that makes a difference. So we'll see what it does. You know, the thing about that game last night, they got down early. It's a team that's really got off to a rough start, but they've shown that they're going to keep playing, they're going to keep battling, and whether that has anything to do with the manager or not, you don't know. But it showed me a lot for a team that's really scuffling, that they were able to manage like that, and they kept playing that game, they kept on the game, and they ended up finally coming back and winning.
Yeah, the 5th game in a row where they'd fallen behind early and come back to at least tie the game. Last night they not only tied it, took a big lead, and ended up winning comfortably at the end. 1-2 to Adrianza. Driven to the corner, but it will hook foul. Romano pitching from the stretch for the first time. Twins hope to get the game tied up here. Looks like Odorizzi is ready to give the Twins some innings, some effective innings. Thrown just 30 pitches through 3 innings so far this afternoon. Fastball just missed the corner.
It looks like he's got him set up to get him out soft away right here. Anytime you see a guy hook a ball foul like he did the pitch before the last, and then you come in with fastball, now you've got in his mind that you're going to come inside, and it opens up the outside part of the plate a lot for you right here. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to something soft away right here. coming back inside.
Fouled back, got a pitch up, and Adrianza put a good swing on it. Still 2-2.
I think that's the difference between what we see today and what we saw last night. You know, those pitches where Phil missed were 89 or 90 miles an hour down the middle, and those ones don't get missed. But when you have 95, 96, they get fouled off because it's just that much harder to make contact with it and square it up.
Adrianza hitting ninth. Again, Miguel Sano not in the lineup today with a tight hamstring. Escobar sliding over to third, and Adrianza filling in at short. In the dirt, and it's a full count with Dozier on deck. Just missed the corner. Very close to strike three. And instead it's a walk, and the 8 and 9 batters both reach to set things up for Dozier. That was a good plate appearance by Adrianza to work out a walk after falling behind early.
That was a great take right there. I don't know if you could force yourself to swing at that. It looks like it's starting at your front hip and it runs back over the plate, and you kind of give up on it a little bit. And fortunate for him, it stayed inside off the plate, and he got the call right there. Now we have a little action right here.
Dozier hit a fly ball down the left field line in the first inning, and he takes strike one.
You said that you trust the Fox box.
I do.
We'll see what the overhead says if it agrees with the box.
Yeah, inside.
There you go. That was the camera that anytime I wanted to go look at a pitch, that was the camera I wanted to see.
Really? Inside to 1-1 because
well, sometimes because every ballpark you go to, that center field camera's at a different spot. It's either higher or it's lower. Sometimes you can't tell depth, and then sometimes it's off to the side. The angle is completely different than what it actually where the pitch is coming in at. So sometimes that ball will look like it's on the corner, and then you look at the overhead and it's about 2 inches off, and that was my true, you know, answer of whether the ball was on the plate or not. And I tried not to look at it too much because I would get frustrated sometimes.
Will pop up near first. Easy play for Votto, and foul ground, 2 down. And that'll bring up Mauer. Fox Sports supports the Minnesota National Guard and Mall of America celebrate the month of the military child, and we are encouraging military families to submit a photo depicting what it's like for your child to be in a military family. For details and criteria for photo submission, visit foxsportsnorth.com/events. 2 on, 2 out. Mauer at the plate. Get a weak ground ball to Jeanette his first time up. We've noticed, and you were talking about the Reds pitching inside, they're really pitching Joe inside. He's been jammed a couple of times, and that doesn't happen very often. Teams typically pitch him away, and he drives the ball hard to left field. They get a strike on the outside corner there, and if their pattern continues, they're going to come back inside and try to get him out.
Well, especially ahead in the count. There's a big difference between hitting behind in the count and pitching behind or ahead in the count. And by that I mean you're 0-1, you're 0-2, you're 1-2, whatever it is. The pitcher's kind of in control of the at-bat at that point.
Targets inside. Pitches inside, 1-1.
And the reason the hitter's vulnerable is because you're up there, and now you have to guard against him throwing his changeup over, his slider over, or his curveball, whatever it is. And those are slower than the fastball, so you have to be in a position, you have to be balanced, you have to let the ball travel a little bit longer, which makes you susceptible to hard stuff inside. And they've really done a nice job establishing that early in this game.
Again, the target is inside. And missing inside again, 2-0.
And what you do is you put it in the hitter's head that I'm comfortable going inside. I can hit my spot inside, and it makes you wary of it. You know, as a hitter, you want to try and strike the strike zone. You want to, for me at least, I wanted to get my arms extended. I wanted to feel like I could reach out and hit something, and anytime they would come up under my hands, it just sort of made you aware of it and less comfortable to kind of lean out there and drive the ball the other way.
Well, they set up outside and miss. 3-1. Rosario on deck. The Twins, and I think everybody here, and probably most of you watching on TV, would feel a whole lot better if the Twins could at least tie the game up here in the third. Three and one to Mauer. Fouled away, 3-2, and the runners will leave early. Garver delivered a one-out double. Adrianza followed with a walk. Dozier was retired on a pop-up. Now Mauer hoping to at least get the game tied here.
It'll be interesting to see how comfortable he really is pitching inside right here, because he went away, he went away, he went away. You know, he's got him set up to come back in right here with 2 strikes.
There's the target inside. Tapper right side. Jeanette has it. 2 men left aboard in the third. It's still 1-0 Cincinnati. In 2012, Bryce Harper made his much anticipated debut with the Washington Nationals. The 19-year-old rookie outfielder collected his first major league hit in the 7th inning, a double off Dodger pitcher Chad Billingsley. Do you have any encounters, exchanges with Bryce Harper at all when you're in your time in the National League?
Played against him a few times. Got him to sign a bat for me. That was something that I didn't do as much early in my career that maybe I wish I would have. But
yeah.
I mostly got left-handed hitters. I really like watching left-handed hitters.
Is that right?
Yeah, I got a Tomey, I got a Ryan Howard, I got a Bryce. I don't have a whole bunch, but I have a few of the guys. I got a Prince Fielder. I like those power left-handed hitters.
Okay.
So he's a guy that was.
There's a bunt and a good one. Odorizzi slides, comes up firing, and Morrison can't quite dig it out on the backhand side. Odorizzi made a nice play going into a slide, which essentially stopped his momentum away from first base, and a one-hop throw not in time. It'll be a base hit for Peraza.
That's an athletic play. It's a guy who probably played shortstop growing up, and there's not a lot of pitchers that make that play. Unfortunately,
well, you can see why Morrison didn't get it. The throw on the first hop actually hit the thigh of the runner. Twins are lucky that the ball didn't go up the line.
Yeah, we saw a couple of those last night, but
yeah.
That's one of the toughest picks as a first baseman, when that ball gets in the area of the grass and the dirt, also known as the lip. But when you get in that area, you're not sure if it hits the grass, it's going to skip, and if it hits the dirt, it comes up, and you kind of get yourself in a defensive position, and you're kind of caught in between trying to read that hop, and you don't really have a whole lot of time to react, and unfortunately, he couldn't hold on to it.
Hit hard to center. Kepler is there to make a thigh-high catch, and Votto, I think, has seen just 2 pitches here today. One down, a man still at first, and now Scooter Gennett. Gennett with a pop-up to Dozier his first time up. So no Miguel Cabrera back because he was a right-handed hitter.
That and because he killed us all the time. That one year he had like 28 RBIs against us. So he was the guy that you just hoped nobody was on base when he came up there. It seemed like every time he came up against us there was people on base. And he is one of my favorite right-handed hitters to watch.
Earlier you were talking about clicks in a clubhouse, and you guys really do form clicks, don't you? I mean, here you are isolating your admiration to some degree with left-handed power hitters. Kirby Puckett, when he would have his pool tournament, he'd get the biggest names in baseball who were hitters. Pitchers were never even invited. The Clemenses of the world, they didn't get an invitation. Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Frank Thomas, Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken, they all came because they were hitters.
Well, it's kind of that fraternity, you know?
Yeah.
You stick with the guys that you know the same thing you know. Maybe you get a group of those guys together, you might learn something from them. You don't want to talk to the pitchers. They're in their own world.
1-0 to Gennett. Little pop up short left. Retreating is Adrianza, and he'll take it himself. And Odorizzi's done a nice job quickly getting a couple of outs after the bunt single. And that'll bring up Suarez. You look at Suarez, and we mentioned it last night, just off the disabled list. He spent only 2.5 weeks on the disabled list with a broken thumb because it was a hairline fracture. Now we relate that to Buxton's situation with his toe. It is just a hairline fracture. It's not displaced or anything like that. Doesn't need to be splinted or casted or anything. And the encouraging news is that Buxton's already a week into the recovery period since the injury. And the hope is in a few days he'll be able to do in a similar amount of time as Suarez, just get back, play with it, and let it heal while he's an active player.
And you know the biggest thing you're worried about is anytime you have a crack, and if you're running on it like that, if you make it worse, then you end up needing surgery, you end up needing pins to put it back together, and all that kind of stuff. That's what you don't want to see.
Fly ball to center, and Kepler retreats. Boy, Jake Odorizzi's really given the Twins a boost here this afternoon. He's given up the only run, but he's pitched 4 effective innings, and Eddie Rosario will try to change the scoreboard when we come back. Beautiful spring day here at Target Field. 1-0 Reds. Our Sanford Health injury report involving Shohei Ohtani, who left last night's game. He's considered day-to-day after rolling his left ankle. And Twins, of course, have the Angels coming up on the next road trip. It'll be interesting to see if he plays, if he's well enough to play, whether he'll pitch in that series. You know anything about Ohtani?
I actually faced him. We did the Japan tour in 2014. Went over there with a bunch of different guys from Major League Baseball and we played against him. And I just remember it was electric. That ball got on you fast and a good split to go with it.
Oh, back 1-1. So he pitched.
He came in relief, and we faced him in relief against the Major League Baseball All-Stars or whatever it was called.
Right.
But yeah, we kind of got beat up over there a little bit. But he was one of those guys. I was surprised at the amount of
ground ball into center field, and Rosario starts the 4th inning with a single.
It's a good turn.
Big turn at second base.
Yeah, I was surprised at the amount of high-end talent. You assume that, you know, with Tanaka being here, and then you assume that all the best Japanese players are here. But we faced Kenta Maeda before he signed with the Dodgers, and there were some guys that were, you know, legit #1 or #2 starters in the big leagues, throwing 94, 95 miles an hour. They look like they belong, and sometimes not all those guys come over, and you know, you would like to see maybe them have that opportunity to see how they do, because they kind of blew us away. We got no hit in one of those games over there.
Did you individually face Ohtani?
Yes.
And you did what?
I walked.
Okay. Escobar takes a strike at the knees. He was called out on strikes his first time up.
It was one of those ones where you start walking and then you get 2 steps out of the box. You're waiting to hear that sound of strike 3 and just kind of drop the bat and keep walking and hope that it was a ball, because it was a ball down. When those guys throw hard, sometimes it looks like they're going to end up low and it ends up in the zone, and you take it and you're walking back going, I had no chance of hitting that pitch. So I think I was fortunate that I walked that bat.
1-1 to Escobar. 3 of the last 5 batters have reached against Romano. Rosario with a couple of steals in his 2 tries. And a pitch up and away, 2-1. Well, you don't know what the injury is exactly to Ohtani, and you don't know how it might impact his ability to pitch. You know, pitchers with a sprained ankle or a rolled ankle, I'm sure they're going to be very careful before they send him back out on the mound.
And with him being in a different situation than most free agents, being younger, the team has a lot more control over him. He's going to have to go through the arbitration process and all the rest of it, as opposed to being a regular international free agent that signs over the age of 26. The rules are completely different, so they're going to be careful with him. They're going to take their time, and the last thing you want to do is see a guy with that kind of talent, with that kind of future ahead of him, put him in any kind of jeopardy. You know, you end up affecting the foot, whether it's the landing foot or the foot he pushes off with. Anytime you have a leg injury to a pitcher, you really worry about shoulder, elbow, the rest of the stuff, because the stress from the violent action of throwing the ball has to go somewhere.
All back by Escobar, still 2-2.
So hopefully it's nothing serious, and hopefully we get to see what he's been able to do, because it's been exciting for baseball. It's been exciting to watch, to see a guy that talented on both sides of the ball.
Angels got a taste of what the Twins experienced in New York. The Yankees came back in the 9th to tie it, won it in the 10th on a Gregorius home run. Tough loss for the Angels last night. Another 2-2 to Escobar. Popped up, and it'll spin its way over the tarp and back into the seats. We talked a little bit about this. A losing streak of any length is unfortunate. And this 8-gamers dropped the Twins 5 games below 500. The good thing is the best team in the division, the Indians, have not run away and hidden. They haven't gone off like the Red Sox have and won 19 games out of 25. The Indians are 14-10. Another foul. You can recover from this.
Yes.
You can recover rather quickly if you just start. If the Twins win today, they got Barrios going tomorrow. They could very easily win this series. There is not a team in the division like the Boston Red Sox that has run away and hidden from the rest of the pack.
But you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because you know you can dig too deep of a hole and it ends up being too hard to climb out of. And the Indians' talent level isn't too far off from the Red Sox. They're coming into the season, they're favored. Their rotation is one of the best in baseball. They have great starting pitching. They have a good bullpen. Andrew Miller just went down, but you know, there is a little extra pressure right now to try and get it back on track, because you don't want that lead. You don't want them to be too comfortable, and all of a sudden they're looking at the All-Star break with a 10 or 12 game lead, and they're able to kind of cruise into the playoffs. You don't want to have that.
Rosario goes. That is a fair ball right over the bag. Rosario was in motion. He's got third base. He hesitates, and he will score with Escobar heading to third. Votto doesn't question the call at all. He maybe got the best look at it. And Escobar, bounding one into the corner, has tied the game.
Ball looked like it went right over the bag. Not a bad pitch down in the zone, but it went right over the bag. I think if you watch Rosario run the bases right here, see him look back.
A double, an error charge to the right fielder Winker. No run batted in. Bottom line is the Twins have tied the game, and the Reds bring the infield in for Kepler. Ball one inside.
And he likes to come inside with 2 strikes. He doesn't, or with runners in scoring position, he wants to try and pitch inside. He doesn't want the hitter to get extended and be able to hit a ball in the air to the outfield, especially with the infield in. He's going to try and tie him up right here and try and get him to either strike out or hit something on the ground.
Fouled back with Max spinning on one and fouling it straight back 1-1. Rosario started the inning with a single. Twins with a great chance here to take the lead. Pitch is up 2-1. A high drive to center. Coming in is Hamilton. Tagging is Escobar. He's just bluffing. Hamilton's one-hop throw right on target. So a fly ball, not deep enough, and that'll bring up Grossman.
I think sometimes, you know, for the kids watching at home, I think we get a little too dependent on the base coaches to tell us when to run. And if you watch him run the bases right here, he runs hard out of the box. He makes a good turn. And when he's coming around second, you can see him peek back, because the third base coach is paying attention to Rosario running, and he's not looking at Escobar running around the bases. So Escobar's got to make that decision himself, and you see it's simple enough. A little head turn. You see him, he bobbled the ball out there, and he was able to keep going to third. That was great base running right there. Great heads up play by him right there.
And now Grossman has been hitting the ball very hard over the last few ball games, and he takes inside ball one. The decision not to send Escobar might have been due in part to who's hitting. Grossman's been giving the Twins their best at bats over the last couple of games. You'd like to think he can hit the ball hard here to get the run in, and he takes inside 2-0.
You see this pattern just continue. They're just trying to pound these Twins hitters inside, these left-handed hitters, and this is a situation after coming inside, he might go to his changeup right here just to try and get him to roll over on something with the infield in. He's coming back in.
Foul back.
For me as a hitter, one of the most frustrating things that I could do would be leave a runner on third base with less than 2 outs. That was one of my pet peeves that would just stick with me forever, because you got that guy out there, and it seems like such a simple thing to do: get a pitch and hit it in the air to the outfield and try and get that run in. But when a guy's pitching like this, it's tough.
This was high to short right field, and Escobar's coming home.
Ooh.
And he'll score. Winker that time stood, and his weight almost carried him onto his back leg rather than charging and getting any momentum behind the throw. Still, it was a strong throw, but a sacrifice fly scoring Escobar, and the Twins lead.
And he kind of got caught back on his heels a little bit and caught it off the wrong shoulder. That's one of those things that you work on over and over and over again with the outfield coaches, early batting practice, all the rest of it. And I think with one out is part of the reason why he sent him, but also the way he caught the ball. You kind of look at it, he didn't get any momentum behind it to be able to catch the ball and have a little rhythm behind it and be able to make a better throw on it.
Watch the position of the catch, standing without any momentum moving forward.
And that little extra time it took him to get rid of the ball was probably the 2 steps that he was safe by. I think if he gets behind that ball, gets rid of it a little bit quicker, he might have a play at home right there. But fortunately for the Twins right there, he didn't do it exactly, you know, textbook as you'd like to see.
1-1 to Morrison. He got a pitch up and tried to clobber it into St. Paul, but he fouled it back instead. Inside again, a pitch in off the plate. When Chuck Knobloch was here, he's a different type of hitter, of course, but he said teams would come at him and pitch him inside. He said if it was in off the plate, that was fine. He was 1 pitch closer to a walk, but the pitch that really got him, that really gave him trouble, was when they came inside and got a strike call.
And you see it, Zach Greinke's one of the guys that's comfortable pitching inside. There's not a whole lot of guys that want to live on the inside part of the plate. They want to show you inside so they can get you out of the way.
There's a strike called, and Morrison tossed his bat away thinking it was ball 4.
But Romano appears to be one of those guys who has enough confidence in his velocity. He's able to live in there. He's able to pitch in there, and obviously not trying to come inside right here, but at the top part of the zone. That
I call that a strike. A replay brought to you by G.
If I'm a hitter, I don't.
Drilled but fouled. Morrison tried to call time before the pitch, so he wasn't ready to offer at it. Full count. Twins have scored a couple here in the 4th to take their first lead this afternoon.
And what they've done here by pitching inside so much early in the game, it's going to open up the outer part of the plate. All of a sudden, if the Twins start trying to make that adjustment, you see Morrison pull that last pitch foul.
Tapper right side, right into the shift. Jeanette from the outfield grass throws him out. Good inning for the Twins. A single and a double to start the inning. Both guys score, and it's 2-1. How's a young kid get a good seat like that?
You got to know somebody.
Who are they?
That's some good-looking kids there. That's all I know. Those are good friend Marty Davis's seats right there. Who's kind enough to to give them to my son, who should really get his fingers out of the screen before he gets them broken on the foul ball.
Twins with a lead, 2-1, and the one Reds run was provided by this guy, Scott Schebler, who hammered a home run off the facing of the second deck in right center field. Fouled back, 1 strike. Well, Odorizzi has really given the Twins something that they absolutely had to have so far. Not just 4 innings complete, but the foul ball, just his 37th pitch of the ball game.
And we've seen it a couple times. His first couple starts, this was the guy that we saw, especially that start in Baltimore. It was impressive, and he's got that in there. He's got those starts in there, and we're fortunate we were able to add him to our rotation. And hopefully the 2 rough starts were just a little blip in the season, where every start's not going to be perfect, and hopefully he's back on track.
And a foul, with Schebler chasing a little bit. Still 0-2. There is help on the horizon too. Irvin Santana's working his way back. Trevor May is working his way back. I asked Paul Molitor this morning, you know, in terms of May and what he's going to be built up for, and they're going to try to bring him back and stretch him out, so when he returns he's prepared to start. Now that might not be his role, but as Paul said, it's easier to back someone off again. A fastball gets him, a strikeout, and use them out of the bullpen, having conditioned them as a starter, than it is to go the other way.
Yeah, it's hard in the major leagues to have a reliever and turn him into a pitcher and let him throw 2 innings. You know, it's sort of like a spring training build-up, where you throw 35 pitches, and the next start you throw 50 pitches, and then start after that you throw 65. In the middle of a major league season, it's not really fair to the pitcher or to the bullpen to really do that on a team, especially a team that's trying to win. So like you said, you're better off build those guys up, and then if you back them off, at least you've got them up to that limit.
There's a pop-up foul and out of play, 1 strike.
And as everyone knows, you can never have too much pitching. You can never have too much starting pitching, because whatever your plans are, there's very few teams in the history of the game that ever go through the year using only 5 starting pitchers. So when you have that depth, that's a sign of an organization moving in the right direction, and we have a depth. And then there's some younger guys coming along behind them in the minor leagues that are also going to be forcing the hand pretty soon here.
1 strike, and now a ball. You know, the focus during the off season within the Twins organization was to improve the depth to the point where what we've seen here in the last couple of days wouldn't be necessary. They brought Aaron Slegers down from AAA just to be in the clubhouse in the event of an emergency, another short start. They didn't get that because Gibson pitched so well in New York. And then Hale brought aboard, picked up on waivers on Thursday, and his tenure with the Twins lasted a little more than 24 hours. He was designated for assignment after the game last night.
And that'll depend if he gets claimed or not. He still could be part of the organization.
Sure.
He still could help this team in the future.
But the move made necessary because they need someone to be here in the event Odorizzi gives them a short start. And that someone is Matt McGill, who is closing games for the Rochester Red Wings. He picked up a couple of saves anyway. Has some major league experience, made a good impression in spring training. And he's in uniform here today wearing number 68. There is a called strike. 3-2.
But I think we saw it last year also with how many players and pitchers we went through just to make it to the playoffs. You never have too much depth, and those minor league free agents that you sign and the guys that have big league experience but aren't necessarily going to get a roster spot in the offseason are so important to a team's success throughout the year.
Fouled away. Well, to put a turn on a common phrase in baseball, and you just said it, you never have enough pitching, but yet 36 pitchers were too many. They used 36 guys last year.
Well, it's not a formula you exactly write up in the off season, but you know, it worked, and a lot of people got experience for it, and they'll be better for it this year. And everyone that either came up for their first time and got their feet wet, it really can help the team this year and help them in the future. You saw it with Kepler's interview. He said, you know, he was so distracted by everything else going on, the environment and the fans and the noise and everything else. And now he's starting to settle in. He's starting to feel more comfortable. And a lot of those guys that came up last year that kind of went through that first time in the big leagues, you know, how do I get into the stadium? Where's the locker room? You know, all the rest of the little things that you don't really think about. Once you eliminate having to think about all those things and your only focus is trying to have success on the field and how you're going to get guys out, you end up relaxing. You start seeing that true talent come out, and that's when you really are dependent on those guys once they get past that point of walking on eggshells, I guess, so to speak, would be the way to put it. And the guys are able to go out there and just be a part of the team and feel like they're part of the team and feel like they're, you know, important and a big part of the success. And we saw that last year, and hopefully we don't use that many this year, but we will depend on a lot of those guys in the minor leagues still.
A 1-out walk, now 1-0 to Mesoraco, and a ball tapped foul. Well, McGill showed up at the ballpark today with, of all things, a Cincinnati Reds suitcase, because he was with the Reds a couple of years ago, and the only suitcase he had was a Reds suitcase, and so he had to kind of tuck it away, make sure nobody saw it.
Take a Sharpie and color over the
right. 1-1.
I remember when I went to the World Baseball Classic last year, I wasn't playing with anybody. I showed up with a White Sox equipment bag, a Rockies bat bag, and a little bit of everything, trying to figure out where I played and what I was doing there. But yeah, that's a weird feeling as a player to look across and you're going, oh yeah, I played with those guys.
2-1 to Mesoraco. Twins in front, 2-1. Runner at first with one away. Foul back 2-2. You look at that here. He is throwing pitches in the 5th inning. He's only thrown 51 pitches. He's had 2 1-2-3 innings. The other 2 innings he's faced just 4 batters. Hoping to face just 4 batters here in the 5th, or even better, get a ground ball hit at somebody here and have another nice quick inning in the 5th.
You got the catcher running, so you have a little more time to turn a double play, so this is a good chance for a ground ball right here.
Ground ball foul between Billy Hatcher and the line.
I think one of the things that I've noticed with Jake today, he's attacked the strike zone with his fastball, which has allowed him to throw his off speed more, and he's gotten more chases. You know, when you're 2-1, you're 1-0 behind in the count, guys aren't going to offer it that borderline slider, that borderline changeup. They're going to take it, and they're going to hopefully get themselves in more of a hitter's count and get to a 2-0 or get to a 3-1 or whatever it is. And Jake's done a nice job of working ahead in the count, and then when he's needed to, he's able to get his off-speed stuff over, and he's got some swings and misses and some bad swings on it.
Deep drive to left field. Rosario back, playing it off the wall. Duvall to third, and the throw back to the infield. Good at bat for Mesoraco, a double. Driven hard against the fence and left, and now the tying run is just 90 feet away.
He is a guy with some power. 24 home runs a few years ago when he was playing every day. It's always a bonus when you get any kind of added offense from your backup catcher, and he got a ball center cut and he didn't miss it. And, the thing I've noticed the last few days watching Eddie play that ball off the wall, it's been impressive. He knows that left field wall has been as good as anyone. He knows balls that he's not going to be able to get to, and a lot of times you see outfielders drift back on that ball and hit the wall and it'll bounce halfway back to the infield. He ended up realizing that he wasn't going to be able to run that ball down in the air, but he made a good play off the wall and didn't allow that runner to score.
Now Hamilton, the number 9 batter, with 1 out, 2 men in scoring position. Time called. 81 at bats, 31 strikeouts. So Odorizzi facing someone who can be struck out as he tries to preserve a 2-1 lead. For strike 1.
And just like they were doing in the last half of the inning, comes inside right there, tries to tie him up, not let him get his arms extended on a pitch that he can hit to the outfield in the air. That sets up the rest of the at bat right here. He can kind of go to whatever he wants. He can go back in there like he's going to.
Foul back, 2 strikes.
And now you can go soft away. You can go curveball in the dirt. You can elevate that fastball. You can kind of do whatever you want. When you're ahead in the count, you're 0-2, you're in the driver's seat. That hitter's up there. He's defensive. The last thing he wants to do is strike out right here. All he's thinking is, I got to put the ball in play. The infield's back. I can get a sac fly. Ground ball to second does the job. But he's defensive because you've set him up with those 2 hard fastballs inside.
Fastball, foul back. The corner infielders are playing even with their bases. Middle infielders are back. First time that Odorizzi's been in any kind of trouble. The run scored on a 2-out solo home run in the second. Then there was a leadoff single, but Odorizzi made quick work of Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez. Now with 1 out, a walk and a double. And the lead is in jeopardy. Popped up very short center. In fact, still in the skin of the infield. It'll be Adrianza for out number 2. Just as good as a strikeout.
And he executed right there. He got away with that 0-2 pitch over the middle plate, but he didn't miss on the last one. He was pounding him in, and then he elevated just a little bit more on the last one. He knew he missed his spot with the 0-2 pitch. He got away with it. He fouled it off, and then he went back to it and executed the pitch he wanted to throw, and ends up getting the perfect thing he can get right there with a speed guy like that. And the middle infielder's back. He gets a pop up, and now you got to make sure you finish it right here. You're not satisfied the fact that you didn't let that guy. You still need to get this out right here.
Mitch Garver retreated toward home plate, then went back to the mound, and the Twins will be charged with 2 mound visits. I've not seen this before. Garvin Alston came out to the mound with the catcher, and as Alston went back to the dugout, Garver came down, I believe, off the mound and then went back. So the Twins will be charged with 2 mound visits as you look at the replay here.
He was probably just going back to make sure whatever sign they're using. So with a runner on second, you vary your signs, whether it's the second sign or whatever it is. You just want to make sure you're on the same page, and that's something I'm sure in the middle of a game that Garver wasn't even thinking about. You know, he's not playing every day, so he's not in the rhythm of that. But that's a tough situation right there. But obviously they're trying to speed the game up. You don't want to see that. It ends up adding time on. So that's the reason that rule's there. It's unfortunate that it didn't hurt him too bad, but halfway through the game still have a lot of trips left.
1-0 to Winker, and now pitches up 2-0. And for a moment there, it almost looked like Garver. Time called. They're going to intentionally walk Winker here to fill the bases and get Peraza to the plate. It almost looked like Garver got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. There was that hesitation, and he saw the home plate umpire Tom Woodring looking right at him. So the scoreboard here says 1 mound visit has been taken away from the Twins, when in reality 2 of them were. Bases loaded now, 2 down, and Jose Peraza at the plate. Big at bat here for Odorizzi, who wants to keep the Twins in the lead. 60th pitch of the afternoon. Foul over the head of Billy Hatcher, 1 strike. Pretty riveting television. There you see Garver, and he looks back, got his hand caught in the cookie jar, and
that's tough. And the rule is, I think, if you leave the dirt. So once he stepped foot on the grass, the first mound visit was over, and he decided to go back onto the dirt to make sure they were on the same page with the signs, and he ends up getting called for another mound visit. It's a little nitpicky, I guess, but that's the way the rule is, and the umpire didn't miss it.
Foul back, 2 strikes.
But I actually like that rule. The mound visits were starting to get a little out of control, in my opinion.
Yeah. Guy who does most of the catching for the Yankees, Gary Sanchez, was one of the greatest violators of that. Things have been tightened up. The Yankee games now are only 4 hours and 10 minutes instead of 4 hours and 15.
We played a 4-hour game last night too. So
2 strikes to Jose Peraza. And does a nice job fighting off an off-speed pitch.
This is the one where we're on the bench. We're going, all right, sac fly to center right here. You're going, what are you talking about? Oh, there's 2 outs. There's no sac flies. But the first time a trainer said that to me, I looked down and tried to correct him, and he looked at me like I was an idiot. So a lot of lessons learned sitting on that bench.
0-2 again to Peraza. Very high. For so many reasons, Odorizzi wants to get Jose Peraza. One of them is Joey Votto's on deck. One and 2. 2-2. We told you last night Votto's homered in 4 straight games, and all of those home runs have come in the 5th inning,
which is amazing. I mean, it's
weird.
There's some baseball stats out there, you know, we come up with, but that one's one of those ones that there's no explanation for it, but it's just it's really interesting to know.
And,
so let's keep him off.
Yeah, let's have him lead off the 6th. Tempted to say, look, we'll let you lead off the 6th and you can hit your home run. Go ahead, just hit it in the 6th with the bases empty.
Well, I'm not going to go that far, but let's get out of this inning first.
Odorizzi does not want the count to run full. It's 2-2. The bases are already loaded. Fly ball, short center field. Dozier giving way to Adrianza, squeezes it, and for the first time today, Odorizzi works himself into and then fortunately out of trouble. Excitement. Head to foxsportsnorth.com, submit a photo and message for the opportunity to be featured in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle during our broadcast and receive $100 in scratch tickets. With the Minnesota Lottery, every day is game day. And every day has been game day for the Twins too. Or when they got to St. Petersburg after the trip to San Juan, 19 games in 19 days, and kind of an odd time or unfortunate time to not play good baseball when you got a game every day. There's Garver. He doubled into the right field corner his first time up. What the Twins need to do, first of all, end the losing streak, but then put together the type of streak the Tampa Bay Rays have done. They were not playing good baseball until the Twins came. Here's a drive to left, deep, and gone! A home run for Mitch Garver. A pair of extra base hits for the Twins catcher. And in each case, we've talked about Garver and how the ball seems to really jump off his bat.
That's a strong young man right there. That fastball up and in, didn't have the same velocity as the other ones had. He turns on it, and he knew he got it as soon as it came off the bat. That's a good swing right there and a good start to his day so far.
Adrianza hooks one hard into the right field corner. He'll dig for second. He's got an extra base hit. How much did you as a hitter, if at all, feed off the fact that a pitcher was faced with a tough situation, got himself and the team out of that situation like Odorizzi did? And did it impact your at-bats at all, or did you feel any extra buzz in the dugout?
Well, I think anytime anything positive happens, especially a situation like that, you get Votto Lumen on deck, and it kind of lifts everybody up when your pitcher's able to get out of that. That was kind of the jams that we weren't able to escape last night, but today he did that, and it kind of just gives everyone that positive feeling. You know, you're still up there, you still have the lead. You can go up there and swing freely, and you're not too worried about, okay, he just gave up 3 runs, he threw 25 pitches. We gotta let him sit down in the dugout for a little while, give him a little break. Maybe I should take the first pitch here, whatever it is. It kind of, you can let it affect your at bat, and in that situation, you still have a lead, still have positive feeling. You know, you go up there and Adrianza hits the first pitch. I think Garber hit the second pitch, whatever it was. But you know, it just gives you that freedom as a hitter to go up there and swing from your heels if you want to, because your pitcher got out of that jam, and it makes a big difference.
We've talked up here many times about how a defensive play sometimes can suddenly cause the at-bats to be just a little bit better. And this wasn't a defensive play so much as a pitcher working out of a jam. Adrianza with a big lead at second base. Pitcher pitched out of a jam, kept his team in front with the specter of Votto, you know, in the on-deck circle. And hey, all it was a 150-foot pop fly to short center, but that might be the play of the game.
That could be the biggest at bat of the game right there, and let's hope it is, because that means we've held on to the lead.
Ball 1 to Dozier. Foul pop down the left field line, and then a foul pop wide of first base. Bryant's had a productive first few weeks of the season here, but it's been odd in that he hasn't homered since April 4th. He had 4 home runs in 3 games and hasn't homered since the Twins were in Pittsburgh. Squaring to bunt and bunting foul, 1-1.
And for a guy who's traditionally got off to some slow starts, it looked like, okay, this is the year where Dozier's going to have the same first half as he usually has in the second half, and who knows what those numbers are going to look like. But still, we're not through April yet. He's got 4 homers, and you know, he hit in almost every game so far, so he's still on pace, and he still looks good at the plate. He's still a threat every time he's up there.
Caught, and it'll be a double play. A humpback liner to the shortstop Peraza, and Adrianza took off for third, 2 away.
And that's a mistake as a base runner there. You got to know where that shortstop's playing. He got jammed. It looked like he thought it was going to get over, but with nobody out, you have to be sure right there. You can't make an out on a play when you're already in scoring position like that. You know, the worst case scenario, the ball gets over his head, you don't get a good jump, and you have runners on first and third still with nobody out, as opposed to nobody on base. And now the pitcher gets to settle in. He gets to reset with, you know, with our 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up. It took away the chance of having a big inning there on taking a risk when it was probably not the right situation to do it.
Bauer taking ball 1.
And you see Dozier talking to him in the dugout about it, probably just going over, hey, you know, got to be sure right there.
Yep.
The old adage is freeze on a line drive. Anytime there's a line drive to the infielders, you freeze, you make sure it's through. But the most important thing is when you're leading off second base is to know where those infielders are playing. So if they're with all the shifts and everything, it's even more important now to know if the second baseman's playing right behind the bag at second. So if there's that line drive that's hit up the middle that used to be a hit every single day of the week, now that guy's standing there a lot of times. So you really have to know where those guys are positioned, and it didn't look like he had moved at all from shortstop. He was standing in the whole place because Jeanette was the one behind him holding them on when he was taking that big lead. So you kind of should know where that shortstop is at all times to really prepare yourself when that ball's hit, whether you should go or not. And that ball was kind of right at him the whole way.
Rosario will hit after the Mauer walk. It's about the journey, not the destination, unless the destination is $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today. Start your streak to compete to win $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak in the App Store or on MLB.com/BTS. Rosario cracked a single to lead off the fourth, scored the tying run. Twins took the lead in the fourth when they scored a pair. They've added one here in the fifth.
It looked to me like Rosario was looking in right there with how much they've pitched inside early in the game. It looked like he was planning on him coming inside, and he was going to try and turn on it, and ended up being out over the plate, and he pulled off it a little bit and ended up missing a pitch that he probably could have done some damage on. And now they go back inside because they're ahead in the count.
Sharply hit to the opposite field. Rosario has his second hit, and Escobar will come up with two aboard. No activity in the Cincinnati bullpen, and that's a reflection more on what happened last night than what's happened to Romano here the last couple innings. I didn't see any activity, but here's Riggleman coming out. This is the second trip of the inning.
That's just a good hitter. You know, the first pitch, he looks like he tries to pull it's a ball away, and then he comes inside and he hits the other way. That's what one as a pitcher, you're shaking your head going.
We do have a pitching change with 1 in, 2 on, and 2 out in the fifth. Damage here, a couple of men aboard, and the new Cincinnati pitcher, right-hander Austin Bryce. Bryce a little bit of time with the Marlins in 2016, 22 games for the Reds last year, putting up decent numbers this year. This will be his 12th appearance of the year, and he'll come in to pitch to Eduardo Escobar. A little bookkeeping matter with runners at first and second. Credit Escobar with a run batted in the fourth inning when he got a double and went to third on the error charge to Winker. They've decided to give Escobar an RBI driving in Rosario, and now he's got a chance to drive in a couple more. Strike on the outside corner.
This is the opportunity that they missed early in the ballgame yesterday to kind of create some distance, up 5-1 early, and had that opportunity to kind of put the game away and not give him much of a chance to come back in it. And now we have that same opportunity today, and hopefully with 2 outs he can get a big hit right here.
One strike to Escobar. Here's a high foul fly. 2 strikes. 4 runs used to be the magic number for the Twins. It is for a lot of teams. Last year it was really a magic number. When they scored 4 or more runs, look what the record was. For one thing, they had over 100 games where they scored 4 runs or more, but their record, incredible. And this year it's just 7-6 because the pitching staff has struggled so much. So we'll see if Escobar can change the score yet again and get the Twins to the magic number of 4. Foul ball.
And if they're going to do it in this ball game, this is a good matchup for the left-handed hitters. The left-handed hitters' numbers are a lot better than the righties. And so we've got 3 lefties in a row coming up, and you know, it's hard to match up when your starting pitcher doesn't go as late as you can. You're not able to play those matchups like you can in the later innings, and hopefully this benefits the Twins right here.
And time called. Second base umpire Lance Barksdale making sure he got the attention of Bryce on the mound. Breaking ball, missed. Close pitch.
That's a good take right there.
That was almost strike 3. Look at this pitch. Oh, what a great pitch by Bryce. He just didn't call.
He missed the spot he set up and didn't catch it the best. But
I'm telling you, I trust the box. The box doesn't lie. And on the next pitch, Escobar strikes out. The Twins get 1. Leave a couple. Could have been a bigger inning, except for the base running mistake by Adrianza. It is 3-1 Twins. Mauer of the Twins, Joey Votto of the Reds. Mauer starting his career about 5 years before Votto did. And who knows, maybe both of them will be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Both with very good on-base percentage. You tend to forget Joe had a couple years where he was struggling, but his on-base percentage is still over 400.
Hopefully both of those players end up in the Hall of Fame, and what they've done, I think, in my opinion, deserves it so far. But we'll see. There, that's 2 very patient hitters, very solid in their approach, and they know what they're looking for every time they go up there. They're going to make you throw strikes to get them out.
1-0, and now 2-0.
I think the main difference between the two, we saw it, Joey's first 2 at-bats, he swung at the first pitch. Joe, not very often. Mauer doesn't very often swing at the first pitch, and I think, you know, if there's anything people like to criticize him for, it's that. But it's hard to argue with a guy who has done what he's done throughout his career.
Swing and a miss. Votto is approaching 1,600 hits. Earlier this year, Mauer got his 2,000th hit. Votto, of course, with much more power. 4 home runs in the last 4 games and 261 in his career. Twins with an infield pull shift. 2-1 the count to Joey Votto. Two and two. There's something about that fastball that Odorizzi throws really good hitters upstairs. They just can't catch up with it. It isn't the velocity. It's what, 92 typically.
Yeah, there's some guys you just don't see the ball as well off of, or the ball seems to jump late in the zone.
Foul back.
And sometimes that depends on how slow a guy's off-speed stuff is. If a guy throws a curveball up there at 76 mile an hour,
which he does,
it makes that fastball appear that much quicker. And I've said this a few times today, when you're in a 2-strike count or you're in a defensive count as a hitter, that fastball you allow to travel just a little bit more and you just miss it. You're just a little bit late because you're worried about being out front of that 76 or 75 mile an hour curveball or that 82 mile an hour changeup, and you kind of get yourself caught a little bit, and he's taking advantage of that.
Just missed the inside corner. And some chirping from the Twins dugout. Odorizzi, I think, thought he delivered the perfect pitch. Do you trust the box? Oh boy, that's borderline. That's borderline. High fly, right center field. Grossman coming in, and Votto is retired. That Votto's numbers and Mauer's numbers are kind of similar. Might not be a coincidence.
Major League Baseball has scouting bureau, has videos of the players and their 60 times and their base running times and their batting practice and their in-game and then, you know, throws and defense, all these different things, right? And Joe, obviously being a 1-1 first-round pick, first overall, his scouting bureau video was, you know, at the forefront, easy to find, and I watched him every day. I'm 17, 18 years old. I watched Joe Mauer probably 500 times.
That was interesting. I really enjoyed listening to that. That was part of your interview with Votto yesterday before the game. Mauer had such a profound impact on Votto, who's considered to have one of the best eyes in the National League. And he came to it not naturally, but through studying Mauer religiously in his scouting video.
And it's, I mean, it shows obviously, but it's funny to hear a guy who was a second-round pick, I think he was 44th overall, to not feel like he had the confidence or whatever it was to feel like he was going to be a high draft pick or he was going to be able to make it in the big leagues or whatever it was. And if you're going to pick a guy to emulate, that was a pretty good choice for a young 17 or 18-year-old kid to look at and go, I think I want to be like that guy. And,
yeah.
And he's done it, and he's done it with a little more power than Joe's done it with.
75 pitches for Odorizzi, pitching to Jeanette. Count is 2-1. And now 3-1. The Reds filled the bases in the fifth. A couple of walks in the inning. One of them turned out to be an intentional walk, but it was a one-out walk to Duvall that opened up the inning for the Reds. They couldn't finish it off. And now 3-1 to Scooter Jeanette. Base hit to left. And that's better than walking him. Jeanette swings his way aboard with a one-out single. Eugenio Suarez will bat, and your next voice you'll hear is from Kevin Gorg.
Yeah, guys, the thoughts of pitching coach Garvin Alston on something you guys were just talking about. Something happened with Odorizzi after his first couple of starts. They had to go back and watch some footage and said the mechanics were a little bit off in his delivery. And he said the one thing that you know with this guy is it all runs from that fastball. When he can change the eye level, elevate that fastball, makes his off-speed stuff much more dangerous. And as you guys just talked about, when you get that off-speed stuff working, you come back with that fastball, even though it's around 90, still fools hitters. And Alston said they looked at film. They really made some adjustments right here with the mechanics with his delivery, and it seems to be paying off here this afternoon.
Thank you, Kevin. He delivers up and away to Suarez. Odorizzi this year's gotten a couple of ground ball double plays. He couldn't get one in the fifth. Let's see if he can get one here in the sixth.
This is interesting turn with the way we've got the shift going on. To turn a double play here is going to be difficult.
Swing and a miss.
And what I mean by that is Dozier's on the shortstop side of second base. And for him to come in, if there's a ground ball hit to the left side, which we're assuming it's going to be because we're shifting and we got three guys on that side of the field, Dozier's going to be coming in, as opposed to coming in towards the ball, he's going to be running across, and you almost have to hit him on the run like a quarterback. It's going to be hard to turn a double play right here, but you're hoping that's what you have a chance to do.
That ball is a fair ball, out at second, relay to first, not in time. Escobar nearly caught the ball in the air. And the Twins get the force at second, 2 down.
You see Dozier on the left-hand side of second base right there. He breaks towards the bag. He still ends up getting himself in position to turn it, but maybe gave him just enough time to beat it out.
Twins have a manager's foot out of the dugout. They're looking at it, I believe.
Safe.
And he's safe. The Twins say play on. 2 down, a runner at first, and now Scott Schebler. It was Schebler's home run that started the scoring off the facing of the second deck in right field back in the second inning. You played with a guy, a right-handed pitcher, who had kind of a slight frame, still managed to throw the ball hard, change speeds very well. Do you see any similarities between Odorizzi and Brad Radke?
You're talking about one of my favorite teammates of all time right there, so that's a lot to live up to. I think Radke's changeup was probably better. I think his best secondary pitch was his changeup, and the thing about Brad Radke is he was not afraid to throw inside. And I've seen that with Odorizzi so far, but you know, he was able to set up his changeup by throwing even 88-mile-an-hour fastballs by the end of it, when he could, you know, barely comb his hair at the end of the game. His shoulder was so bad that he still would pitch inside because he knew he had to, and he relied on his command. And because his changeup was so good, it made his fastball that much better. So they're similar. I'd probably have to watch Jake a little bit more if I was going to put that on him. You're talking about a 20-game winner, one of the best pitchers in Twins history. So
there's a good changeup right there.
But it's a fair comparison.
Now Odorizzi, with Logan Morrison saying spring training, he's got a great dad body. And I can say that because they're former teammates with another organization, and now teammates again here with the Twins. 1-2 to Schebler. To center, and it'll carry to Kepler. Inning over. 6 very much needed, well pitched innings by Jake Odorizzi. Is brought to you by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. Oh, what a glorious afternoon. It feels like late April in Minnesota. Not a cloud in the sky. Twins leading 3-1.
Haven't gotten to the bullpen yet.
Haven't gone to that maybe is the most important thing. Here's Max Kepler leading off the Twins 6th. Dick Bramer, Kevin Gorgan, Justin Morneau making his broadcast debut this weekend. Very happy to have Justin in the booth.
It's been fun.
Hey, you survived last night, and if you can do that, you've got a great future in this business if you can get through a game like last night.
Thankfully, we have a lot of coffee up here.
A ball now, a strike to Kepler. He is 0 for 2. He'll be followed by Robbie Grossman and Logan Morrison.
And I think we've harped on the bullpen a little bit, but it's tough when you're being asked to come in the game in the 4th inning and pitch. You know, that overuse really affects those relievers a lot.
2-1.
And people will say why. Well, it's a lot different. A starter's got 4 days in between starts. He's got the recovery day. He's got the day where he's able to lift. And those bullpen guys, their schedule's so erratic. They're trying to get in, you know, the lift where they go in and get stronger, and the recovery is completely different. And you know, to get up and down and all that kind of stuff is tough on those relievers. And
we saw Ryan Presley warming up just a few moments ago. He had to come in, what was it, the 4th inning. That's you know, an hour before he normally pitches in a ball game. It's like 3 innings before he normally pitches.
Yeah, and he's off to a great start. And unfortunately, last night he gave up a run. I don't think it was earned, but he's a guy that's a big part of that bullpen. And I feel like it's still going to be a strength of this team with the additions they made. Zach Duke, Addison Reed, Rodney had a couple of hiccups last week, but every closer does at some point. And you know, they're set up to do well, especially if we give them the lead and we're not asking them to overextend themselves. If we're putting them in the right situations, they're going to have success, and they're going to help this team close out a lot of these ball games.
Full count to Kepler. Scalded Votto. And even when he's making outs these days, Max Kepler is typically hitting the ball very hard. 1 away.
And that's a situation there where it's hard as a young hitter to not tell yourself to do something different. If you're chasing results, you get there and you go, I should have hit that ball higher, or I should have done something different, as opposed to you just hit a rocket that went right at the guy. If you hit it 2 feet either way, it's a hit. You try and take a positive out of every at bat, and it took me a long time in the big leagues to figure that out.
Robbie Grossman's consistently given the Twins some big at bats, and it wasn't an at bat in the 4th. It was a plate appearance, a sacrifice fly to put the Twins in front 2-1. On the ground, juggled, picked up by Jeanette, 2 down. And that'll get us to Logan Morrison. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series heads to Talladega for the Geico 500. Get ready for all the fast-paced, heart-thumping action from the Super Speedway, starting at 12:30 Central on Fox, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Of course, we'll have the final game of this series starting at 12:30 as well. Get to see Jose Barrios pitch tomorrow. There's a strike on the outside corner.
There's a lot of people that will look at this and go, oh, the whole left side of the field's open. Why would he not bunt right here? Well, because he's a power bat, and it's probably going to take 2 hits to score him from first right here. So you want him to go up there, and he's either trying to hit a homer or a double right here, and he's trying to, you know, put a good swing on it. When he gets to 2 strikes, and obviously you're trying to put the ball in play, whatever you are. But he runs better than I did, but I did never feel like it was beneficial for me to hit a, you know, for me to bunt my way on right here, where there's a chance that when I swing the bat, the ball could go over the fence,
right,
especially the matchup with the right-handed pitcher and all the rest of it. But you know, people go, oh, well, he's only hitting whatever he's hitting. He could get his hits right here, but he's smart enough to know that he's a power guy. That's why he's here. And with 1 swing of the bat, he could put us up 4-1.
That's essentially the conversation I had from Jason Kubel, good friend of ours, teammate of yours. I asked Jason about that, and he said, you know, I'm not here to get bunt singles. I'm here to produce runs and hit the ball over the fence. This was during his 2nd stint with the Twins when he came back to the Twins.
And the score dictates that also. I don't have a problem with it if we're down 3-1 in this situation. You bring the tying run to the plate, you put the pressure on the pitcher. He's got to, you know, try and worry about holding the runner on all the rest of it. But when we're up 3-1, you try and add to that lead. You play the game differently when you're behind or when you're ahead.
And now 3-2. Bryce has done a nice job since coming into the ball game in the 5th. Morrison looking for his first hit of the day. home run and a very solid single in the game last night. Odorizzi has kept the Reds in check, giving up just the solo home run in the second inning. That drifts wide. And Morrison, who thought he walked in the fourth, does draw one here in the sixth. And that'll bring up Garver,
who swung the bat very well today.
Made the score 3-1 his last time up.
He got a fastball in the inner part of the plate. And, you know, you always love to see, like I said earlier, when Mesoraco hit that double. Anytime you get your backup catcher in there, and he's obviously a young guy, and not used to not playing every day, but he's on this team. You might lose a little bit as far as defense and game calling just because he doesn't have that experience as compared to when Castro's in there, but when you put him in there, you have a chance of him hitting the ball in the seats like he did there, and he's the guy that the Twins are hoping to rely on more in the future as we go forward. Or else Castro's got another year on his deal, and he's important to this team, the way he handles the pitching staff, the way he controls the running game and all the rest of it. But you know, he's a guy that can learn from a guy like that, and we're expecting him to help us in the future.
Well, we made the point on the road trip, I think in Tampa Bay when he caught a game, that the games that the Twins have played with Garver behind the plate have been low scoring games, and that's the biggest value. As you said, you get offense from your backup catcher, that's a bonus. You want to make sure that the game is called and pitched well, and Garver's done a nice job of that again today. There's a strike, 2-1.
And we saw that quite a bit when we had Mike Redmond here for forever hitting behind Joe.
Right.
You know, you weren't going to get the same offensive production, but Red knew who he was as a hitter, and the pitchers were comfortable throwing to him. They knew he did his homework. They knew he was prepared. They knew he knew the hitters. He'd been around a while, and he was going to give you some production still from behind the plate.
Breaking ball over for strike 2. So he's got a double and a home run, and you think, well, he's not that much of a chance to cycle because catchers don't hit triples. He hit 3 of them last year. He had 46 at bats in the big leagues, and he had 3 triples. How many did you have in your whole career?
Ooh, 20 something.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I hit 4 one year in Colorado, and the first one I hit, I watched the replay. You know, I watched my swings a lot and all that kind of stuff, and I hear, and from the most unlikely of Rockies, Morneau slides into third with a triple, and then I hit like 3 out of 5 games I hit triples, and I was just kind of looking up at him going, laughing, and you know.
Play-by-play guys don't know what they're talking about. Who was it? It was on the TV or the radio?
TV, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And the thing that, I'm not a fast guy, I'm aware of that, but Willen Rosario was still on that team, who I know I could beat in a race. And so to say I was the most unlikely Rocky to hit a triple was kind of a bruise to my ego a little bit.
Well, they did. Our research department in the truck just told me that 23 triples you had as a big leaguer. 3-2. And Garver strikes out, and we will head to the 7th inning with the Twins leading 3-1.
So far it's been Jake Odorizzi and the offense he's gotten, but he's pitched ahead in the count. He's able to get some chases on some pitches that are off the plate, and he's done a great job controlling the strike zone. Escobar takes a tough pitch, off-speed pitch, and ends up keeping it fair. Good base running, and then Garver turns on it. Great swing. Feeling good, heading back to the dugout, and the boys have the lead, and it's looking good so far. Hopefully, Odorizzi can keep doing what he's been doing.
84 pitches thrown by Odorizzi. The Twins are going to try to milk one more inning out of him. Facing the bottom third of the Reds lineup, Adam Duvall, Devin Mesoraco, and Billy Hamilton. Outside, ball one.
We see Zach Duke out there getting loose. Hopefully we don't have to use him this inning.
We're hoping to get 6 innings out of Odorizzi, and they're going to give him an opportunity to complete 7. 1-1.
And like I said earlier, the deeper he goes into the game, the more it sets up the matchups for Paul Molitor late in the game. Able to go left, right, and match up the way you really want to as a manager, the way you draw it up from the start.
And 1-2. You know, you're a fan of the Twins, and you're disappointed with how they played over the last 8 games, obviously. But then you in the back of your mind, if not in the front of your mind, you're trying to imagine a world where they can win 8 in a row, and it's hard to do that when they can't win 1 in a row. 1-2 to Duvall. But you look at what the rotation might be in the very near future, where you have Irvin Santana rejoining the rotation, and then you've got Barrios, you've got Gibson who's pitched well, you've got Odorizzi and Lance Lynn who will pitch well, and then you look at a rotation that's capable of building some winning streaks.
I think as a player you try not to, just because we lost 8 doesn't mean we need to win 8.
Right. But as a fan,
you need to win today.
Right, but as a fan, you're going, okay, how are we going to make up for this? You know, we've lost 8 in a row. And is this team capable of winning 8 in a row?
It is.
Only time will tell whether they will, but they might very soon have a rotation where that you're going to feel a little more encouraged about the possibility of that happening. 3-2 to the leadoff man here in the 7th. Fouled away.
And I think we saw it last year as the offense got better from month to month. You start getting some of that pitching back, and gives you a little more depth in the bullpen. It gives you a long guy who's got some starting experience if one of the guys gets moved out there. But like I said, as a player, you try and control what you can control. You can't control 8 days from now. You worry about today, executing your pitch, having good at bats, making sure you make the plays, whatever it is. Kepler
retreating, won't get there. One hops the wall, and in fact goes over the wall for a leadoff double here in the 7th. The 7th place hitter has a good at bat against Odorizzi. And now Mesoraco will bat.
For a guy who came into the series struggling, he's looked like he's starting to find it a little bit. He had a walk his last at bat. Drives that ball into center. I don't know if anybody who's out there, even if Byron's out there, he's going to run that ball down. So
Paul Molitor will come out and get Odorizzi.
Kepler was playing him in the other gap a little bit, and unfortunately for Jake, he does it, but he gave us what we needed.
Pitching into the 7th. A much needed start by Jake Odorizzi. one-loss column. He really pitched well here this afternoon.
It goes to show you, even in today's game, a strikeout-heavy game. He struck out 3, still did a good job, walked 2, but you don't have to strike everybody out to have a successful start. And when you're getting those quick outs, those outs early in counts, where you're not going deep in the count striking guys out, you can pitch into the 7th inning like he did, and that was a very effective start that we really needed today.
Zach Duke has not given up an earned run in his last 6 outings, covering a total of 5 innings. And a base hit to right on the first pitch. Duvall will be held at third. Mesoraco driving one to the right side of the infield, away from the shift. And now the tying run is at first base. Billy Hamilton will hit.
That's just a nice piece of hitting right there by Mesoraco, taking advantage of the shift. Nobody on that side of the field. He knows that Zach's not a guy that throws overly hard, so you're able to kind of let the ball travel, and he's not afraid to get jammed right there. Runner scoring position, hits the ball the other way, and ends up getting rewarded with a ground ball right at where the second baseman would normally be playing. It ends up being a hit for him.
And now Billy Hamilton, 0 for 2 on the day. Down and away, ball 1. Hamilton hitting just 171 on the year. With his speed, obviously a very difficult guy to double up. Duke, when he's on, doesn't leave pitches up like he did to Mesoraco. He's down at or below the knees. So he'll try to get a ground ball here. Popped up. And Morrison comes in and makes the catch. A big out. A 15-foot pop-up for the first out of the inning. Wow.
And I think Billy's going to be disappointed with that at bat. Morrison ran a long way for that ball, but with how much speed he has, and you have runners on first and third, nobody out, I'm not opposed to seeing him push a bunt towards first base right there. You got a good chance of scoring the run. You end up moving the other runner into scoring position, and if it doesn't work out, you end up with runners in second and third. The worst thing you can do is pop up right there. Nobody advances, and that's a tough at bat right there.
Morrison caught it, so it didn't matter, but you saw Tom Woodring point at Hamilton as if he obstructed Garver from making a play on the ball. Here is Winker. Down and away, ball 1. Winker 0 for 2 with an intentional walk. Breaking ball that clips the inside corner.
I think what you're seeing from Winker is a guy who's watched Joey Votto's at bats, and he doesn't seem to get himself out a lot. Yes, that was a strike, but it wasn't something he was looking for, and he's going to make you give him something in the zone that he can do some damage on.
Foul to back, and it's 1-2. With 13 strikeouts in 8 innings. Got him. Dropping down sidearm and striking out Winker for out number 2.
That's just a veteran pitcher right there, knowing himself and knowing his stuff, and knowing that you change the arm slot a little bit, you drop down, gives the hitter a little different look, gets that good sweep on that breaking ball, and gets the strikeout that he needed.
And now Peraza will bat. And for the time being, Votto is in the on-deck circle. Peraza 1 for 3. Just off the outside corner, ball 1.
I don't know if you've got the matchup here, the right-handed hitter, left-handed pitcher. But I don't think this is a situation where you want to be too careful right here and give Votto a chance to do some damage in here.
Fly ball right field. Grossman is there. And a great outing by Zach Duke, getting the last 3 batters to keep this a 3-1 game. by T-Mobile. And the White Sox have been pounding the ball at Kauffman Stadium. And they're out to a quick lead again here today. Jumping out to a 5-0 lead.
Yeah.
You know, that's it's not a silver lining by any means. But if you're going to have an 8-game losing streak, it's best to have it outside your division. Because if you lose to those guys, it's an automatic win for whoever you're playing. The Twins have played so few games within the division. You know, they've won 1 game here against the White Sox, and they split the 2 against Cleveland. There's Dylan Floro for Cincinnati.
1 loss ends up being like 2 games in the standings.
Right, yeah. So if you're going to have a bad streak, have it outside your division, I guess.
And have it in April also.
And have it in April when you got time to make up for it. Adrianza, the batter, against Floro. He's looking for some insurance here.
And this is a guy that our left-handed hitters are going to have to take advantage of. He's got a good fastball, but I think his changeup is his out pitch. Lefties, you can see the numbers right there. Big difference in the splits.
Strike call 2-1.
See if Adrianza can get something going right here.
And more chatter from the Twins dugout.
Little Roger Clemens almost in the staring in, take the signs.
2-1. Fouled away, 2-2. It'll be Adrianza, Dozier, and Bauer at the Twins 7th. And wouldn't a run or 2 look big right now? Talking about it in New York in the final game of that series, playing the out game. The Twins ended up coming up 3 outs short in the 9th inning, but they also didn't add on any runs when they could have earlier in the ball game.
I think you see this is why his numbers are so much better against right-hand hitters and left-hand hitters. It's cross body, so he's stepping across on the third base side when he delivers that ball.
Knocked down and deflected to Jeanette, who has time to make the play 1 away. Kind of what Addison Reed does.
Yep, and it gives you the illusion that the ball's coming at you and it ends up over the plate. For a left-handed hitter, it doesn't really make much of a difference in my opinion, but for a right-handed hitter, when that guy looks like he's stepping right towards you and throwing that ball up there 93, 94, 95 miles an hour, it gives you just a little bit of uncomfortable feeling of that ball's coming right at me. You're trying to force yourself to hang in there, you know, telling yourself whether it's keep your hip in or keep your shoulder closed or whatever it is, just a little bit longer, because you have that tendency to kind of bail out on them a little bit.
Fastball missing the outside corner, ball 1. Dozier 0 for 3, a foul fly to left in the 1st inning, a foul pop to 1st in the 3rd inning, and then a soft line drive hit right at Peraza. That was the play where Adrianza got doubled off second base. There's a strike, 1-1. What we see Addison Reed do is use the corner of the rubber way over on the first base side. Floro stands right about in the middle of the rubber and then drives forward, down and away, 2-1.
And some guys move on the mound because they're not comfortable pitching to one side of the plate or the other. Some guys will move over because it's harder for them to get extension, whether it's outside to right-handed hitters for a right-handed pitcher, or if they want a different angle coming in where the release point is.
Tapped up the line foul. And speaking of Addison Reed, he's warming up in the Twins pen.
Yeah, so it's obviously each guy gets to this level, and then you figure out how to be successful, and there's not really one way to do it. It's the same as hitting. You know, at contact point, and when you release the baseball, everyone's basically in the same position, but how you start is different. It's how you feel comfortable, and you know, the way he takes his signs, the way he sets up is different than any other pitcher. But
get into the shift with Jeanette over on that side of second base, and he throws wildly. And Dozier will reach. Votto did the right thing, coming off the bag to make the catch on the wild throw. No reason for Jeanette to hurry. He just made a bad throw.
And you get that second baseman playing on the other side. a little bit out of position for him. You know, obviously he's been over there a lot, but sometimes you don't feel like you have as much time being on that other side of the field. You got a longer throw, and he ends up rushing it and not realizing that Dozier didn't really get out of the box that well. Fortunate break. See if the boys can take advantage of it right here.
Second Reds error, and Bauer will come up with Dozier aboard. Down and away, ball one. Bauer walked his last time up. A couple of ground balls to second preceded that. Ryan with 2 steals in 4 tries. The Twins are 9 for 12 in stolen bases.
Floro's pretty quick to the plate, so it's more likely a hit and run type situation than it is actually stealing it off of him.
At the knees, 1-1.
But Joe's a hard guy to hit and run with because he knows the strike zone so well. So if you're forcing him to swing the bat, one of his big strengths is walks and seeing pitches and forcing that guy to work. And when you tell him to go up there and you're forcing him to swing and put the ball in play because he's got such good hand-eye coordination, you might actually be hurting him instead of benefiting.
I never thought about that. I mean, a pitch off the plate to him might be hard to put in play because he usually doesn't even swing.
Well, or because his hand-eye coordination is so good, he's actually going to put it in play, but he's going to put it in play weakly as opposed to taking it and being, instead of being in a 1-0 count, now he's a 2-0 count as opposed to a ground out to third or a ground out to short. And yes, we moved the runner up, but we took the bat out of one of our best hitters' hands.
And now 2-2. A nice crowd here at Target Field today, enjoying the sunshine. So far, enjoying the score, 3-1. Dozier dives back to the bag. Full count. We'll see if the Twins do anything with Dozier. Joe, with his good eye, would seem to think there'd be a pretty good bet that Dozier would take off here, right?
I believe so, especially with Sano not hitting behind him. We talked about it last night. If Sano, when Sano's up there, you're on first base, you're in scoring position. Sano's in scoring position when he walks up to the plate, but you know, Rosario's got some power, but it's not the same as Sano.
And Dozier does take off, and Bauer fouls it at the plate.
When you steal a 3-2, obviously you're trying to steal the base, but at the same time, you know that the hitter you have up there is either going to put the ball in play or, like Joe, he's going to take it for ball 4. So it's not a true straight steal where you're making sure you get a good jump, you're making sure you don't get picked off, but you're in motion assuming that Joe's either going to walk or put the ball in play. He's not a high strikeout guy, so you kind of get the defense moving around. You open up some holes.
Dozier was leaning, but he gets back. What's the wisdom, as we see Votto and a lot of first basemen do? He positions himself in front of the bag.
Well, a lot of times you do that. It's very hard for a right-handed throwing first baseman to tag anyone out on a pickoff. The goal of the pickoff is to keep him close.
Another foul.
But when you do that, you set yourself up on the angle. If he hits a ground ball to you and there's a double play, you're out of the way of the runner, similar to the catcher throwing the ball to first base on a bunt. You're not looking at the runner's back. If you're a couple steps in front of the base, then you've already created that angle to throw. So you're not looking at that guy's numbers, and you're not going to throw it off his back or off his helmet, and the ball sails into the outfield and guys are running all over the place. You kind of create that angle ahead of time, and you give yourself a little more space that if that ball is hit to you, you're able to turn it without having to alter your path before you throw the ball, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Another 3-2 to Mauer. Dozier goes again, and the pitch line to left field, a base hit. And Dozier will check in at second base. Rated bat from Mauer. The Twins have a chance at adding something here in the 7th. First and second, one away.
This is a good at bat by Joe. kind of what you expect a quality at bat. Waited till he got his pitch, fouled off some tough ones, and then, like he does, makes it look so easy. Just nice line drive to left. And now Floro's in trouble out there. He's got another left-handed hitter coming up there. And this is really a chance for the Twins to put this game away again right here. You're hoping they can do it, take a little pressure off the bullpen, let those guys come in with a big lead. We have confidence in them in a 2-run lead, but a 3 or 4-run lead sounds a lot better.
And Rosario hitting third in the absence of Miguel Sano, out with a tight hamstring. Singles his last 2 times up. Strike 1 called.
Right at the bottom of the zone. That's not something he wants to hit first pitch anyway. First pitch changeup. That's a good pitch to roll over for a double play. So even if you take it, it's in the zone. You're not too worried about it. It's still not what you want. He's still in trouble. He's the one with the runners to worry about.
For the inside corner, 0-2. Gentle breeze now blowing in from the plaza in right field. We'll see if Rosario can hit a wind cutter. Chases and strikes out, 2 away. That'll bring up Escobar.
Floro made some pitches on him right there. He lived at the edge of the strike zone, then he got him 0-2 and got him a chase up out of the zone. It was he executed everything he was trying to do that at bat. First pitch changeup. Right at the knees. Second pitch comes in with a fastball, runs back over, and then he's got him in a hole. Rosario wasn't happy with either one of those calls, but he'll go back and look at him and see that they were over the plate, and then ended up getting himself out on the third one.
Replay brought to you by Carrier. The ball lifted to the left field corner, fairly deep, and a foul ball out of the reach of Duvall, and a near extra base hit.
I think that wind you talked about coming in from right might have just pushed that ball enough. Just a couple feet foul. That would have been the one to really put this game into a more comfortable spot, I think.
Not to bring up a sore subject, but in that Yankee game the other day, it was a 3-1 ball game. The Twins had chances to add runs in the 7th, had chances to add runs in the 8th, and they didn't get it done. And then you all know what happened in the 9th. Big spot here for Escobar, and he takes a strike, and it's 0-2. Escobar with a double, driving in a run in the 4th, scoring a run later in the inning, bookended by a couple of strikeouts this afternoon. 0-2. Drops to his knees, taking a ball.
And that's for show right there. He's trying to get him off, and he really wants to get him out with his changeup. He's got a lot of confidence in his changeup. And when you see that, you get him move his feet, you get him aware of the inside part of the plate, and then you go out and try to get him to roll over on your pitch right here, and hopefully he makes a mistake with it.
Fouled back, came in with a fastball in off the plate, perhaps.
And that's why I'm up here not hitting anymore. And I'm not saying you guess. I'm not saying you're up there with 2 strikes, you're an 0-2 count. You're not, or a 1-2 count. You're not looking for a changeup because you have no chance of hitting the fastball. You get in 2 strikes, you're in battle mode, but you're aware of it, and you're seeing how the pitcher's trying to set up the hitter.
And Escobar strikes out. And the Twins strand a couple again in the 7th. And we head to the 8th. It's still 3-1.
Sports update. The Reds' first visit to Minnesota in 17 years continues tomorrow afternoon as they close out their 3-game weekend series with the Twins. We'll get you ready for the series finale with Twins Live at 12:30 before Cincinnati concludes its inaugural visit to Target Field.
Well, thank you, Tom. We were talking about that last night. This is the final or the last ballpark the Reds have played in of the existing ballparks. They've been everywhere but Target Field. The last time they came to Minnesota, the Twins were playing at the Metrodome. Tom Kelly was the manager. Here is Addison Reed. Been really good for the Twins. He's going to be asked to pitch in the 8th inning, with the presumption then being that Fernando Rodney will get the 9th inning. Ryan Lamar is in center field, and Max Kepler moving over to right field. Here is Votto with the bases empty, and there's a swinging strike one.
This is the ideal situation where you want to face Joey Votto, is leading off, nobody on.
Well, what Duke did in the 7th and what Odorizzi did in the 5th may be critical to the Twins' chances of winning this ball game. Odorizzi got Peraza leaving the bases full in the 5th. Duke stranded a couple of runners in the 7th, and so Votto hits, leading off the inning in each case, 1 and 2.
We didn't let him hit in that magical 5th inning for him.
That's right. Jeanette on deck. Inside, 2 and 2.
One thing you notice with Joey Votto, with 2 strikes, he's not afraid to choke up on the bat, and he's trying to put the ball in play. He's come out and said publicly that his goal last year was to reduce his strikeouts, and it is possible if you're willing to give up something.
3 and 2.
You gain a little bit by doing that. You gain a little bit more time. You might sacrifice some power, but you gain time by choking up. You give yourself a little less length on the bat. Bat seems a little lighter in your hands, and you're able to wait a little bit longer to recognize those pitches.
And Votto draws a walk to lead off the 8th inning. We'll bring up Jeanette. May 1st is Minnesota Lynx Night at Target Field. A limited number of Lynx theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and a Twins Lynx co-branded cap. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Lynx or call 800-33-TWINS. With the Votto walk, Jeanette stands in representing the tying run. On the outside corner with Jeanette moving that left hand up the bat barrel.
We see those shadows starting to creep towards home plate. It's going to get real difficult to hit here pretty soon.
I tell you what, I'll bet the game ends. I hope the game ends before the shadows come into play. A couple of quick innings here would be nice, although the leadoff walk isn't going to help matters here in the 8th.
There's always a chance for that double play right here. Ball to Dozier.
A strike called 1 and 2, and now it's Jeanette's turn to slump his shoulders. Jeanette's bounced into 3 double plays this year. One and 2. Foul back. So you're saying, as a left-handed batter, and you're not speaking for all left-handed batters, the crossfire motion of Reed isn't much of a distraction?
No.
Okay.
It may make it a little more difficult to pick up the ball just because his shoulders closed a little bit longer, but it's not really that big of a deal. I feel like from a hitter, especially with him being on that side of the rubber.
1 and 2. Deep to right, it will hook foul. So far, and we know it's just April 28th, so far Reed's had better success against lefties than righties.
And he's got a little natural cut on his fastball. He's got some late movement that just gets under the hitter's hands, and you see it there that's pretty much all you can do with it, is either pull it foul, or if you try and keep it fair, you're going to hit it close down towards your hands off the label, and it's going to end up being that double play ball we're looking for.
Another 1-2 coming to Scooter Gennett. Just inside.
I'd assume he's going to go back away right here. Late in the ball game, you don't want to take too many chances going inside. If Scooter Gennett's going to hurt you, it's probably going to be on the pull side with any kind of power.
Slap foul.
And he's done a nice job in this game. His last at bat, he hit a ball through left side. You know, he's a good quality hitter, but at this point in the game, you'd rather take a single to left instead of a homer to right. A homer to right kills you, and obviously not the only way, but the more likely place where he's going to hit a homer is on the pull side. So you don't try and take too many chances inside late in the game. If you do, you do it for effect, and then you go back away and force him to beat you to the big part of the field and to the part that's a lot harder to hit the ball over the fence.
3 2-strike fouls. And now a full count. Votto can run a little bit. We'll see if they send him here on 3-2. Well, the pitch outside, according to the trustworthy box. Full count to Gennett. Votto stays put. The pitch grounded. Morrison hits the bag, and now Votto goes down into a slide 15 feet from the second base bag. It's a double play, and a big one here in the 8th inning.
And that's a harder double play to turn it that way as a first baseman, but he made that look real easy. And that ball took him to the first base side, so he took that one step. And being a left-handed thrower, it's a little quicker release. He doesn't have to turn his shoulders all the way around to be able to make that throw. And we end up getting the double play, not the typical fashion, but it ends up working out well.
What was the purpose of the pop-up slide 15 feet from the bag?
Well, I think he assumed that he was going to throw the ball to second
to get the first out.
And you slide just to slide. Yeah, I don't think he knew that he stepped on the base. As a runner that plays behind you and you don't really know where the ball's at. So.
But now that was the preferred play for Morrison, right? I mean, he fielded it with his foot right by the bag, and the first out is right there to get.
As a left-handed throwing first baseman, that's an easier play.
Yeah.
For me personally, I would rather get the lead runner.
Make sure you get that. Right. Okay. That's to left center. Deep to the gap. And Rosario makes the catch on the warning track. An interesting inning for Addison Reed. But a ground ball double play and a wonderful catch in left by Rosario fighting the sun. some range in left field.
He ran a long way for this ball. 82 feet, I believe it said, and he's battling the sun the whole way. That's where the challenge really was on that catch. Seemed like it was an easier catch than what it was, but when you factor in the sun into it, it's you see him shading it right there with his hand, and he's really battling it. And that's a tough feeling as a fielder. You kind of lose that ball for a split second, and you're hoping you read it right, and you kind of stick your glove out and catch it.
Kepler chipped his bat, it looked like. Votto to the pitcher, 1 away. They'll bring up Robbie Grossman. Excuse me, not Robbie Grossman. They'll bring up Ryan Lamar, who entered the game defensively for Grossman, taking over in center field with Kepler moving to right. Grossman had gone 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Rodney getting loose. First pitch fouled back.
An interesting conversation with Ryan Lamar yesterday. I said, "Oh, it was a great walk-off hit." You know, a guy who's battled up and down and
right.
Gone through that stage of his career. He's hoping to stick in the big leagues here. And he said, "Yeah, then I get to start a couple games, and I all of a sudden think I'm a home run hitter."
So you actually talked baseball. I thought you and he would talk hockey. He was a good hockey player in the state of Michigan in high school.
Really? We didn't even get that far. I was more worried about his at bats. But
okay. 1-1 to Lamar. And a dribbler back to the mound. 2 away. And Logan Morrison will bat next. We will have the final game of this series. Tyler Mahle going for the Cincinnati Reds. Jose Barrios going for the Twins. He's hoping to win this game, then win the series tomorrow. And it'll be the Toronto Blue Jays. Century Link bringing you what's next. Logan Morrison 0 for 2 with a walk. Twins haven't scored since the 5th inning. And a hot ground ball under the glove of Peraza. And Morrison's aboard with a 2-out single. And that'll bring up Mitch Garver.
It's good to see Logan find a way to get a hit. Ball was off the plate, but beats the shift, hits it up the middle, and any day you get a hit and the team wins, it always feels that much better. The win is obviously the most important thing, but when you do something positive and you feel like you contributed to it, you go home and hopefully you're able to build on that after last night and tonight, and he's starting to settle in, it looks like, and be the player we know he's capable of.
Strike 1 to Garver. Mentioned the Twins haven't scored since the 5th inning. That's when Garver hit his 2nd home run of the year. Hit a double in his first at bat. Down and away, a ball. Chopper foul. 1-2. It will be Fernando Rodney in the 9th inning. Right now it's a save situation. Garver hits one into the seats at home.
You can see the confidence that he has in his changeup. Anytime a pitcher is willing to throw a same-sided hitter a changeup, whether it's a left-handed pitcher throwing a left-handed hitter a changeup, or like we just saw a right-handed pitcher throwing a right-handed hitter a changeup, that'll tell you that he has got a lot of confidence in that pitch and he's not afraid to throw it at any time. And you're aware of that as a hitter, and if you're paying attention on the bench, you see that, and you kind of just stick it in the back of your mind. And as a pitcher, it makes you other stuff more effective, because instead of worrying about fastball, slider, just 2 pitches, you have that 3rd pitch in the back of your mind and you're trying to cover all 3.
And Garver takes one down the middle. It will be a 3-1 Twins lead when Fernando Rodney comes in to try to pick up the save. tonight's ball game, Jake Odorizzi took care of the first 6 innings. Zach Duke pitched a scoreless inning. Addison Reed pitched a scoreless 8th. And now with the score 3-1, Fernando Rodney will have an opportunity to forget all about what happened Thursday in New York. The score is the same. The hope is the result will be different. Kepler, Duvall, and Mesoraco due to face him. And one of the puzzles here in the early going is what has happened to Fernando Rodney's changeup. He simply has not thrown it very often. And it has been his fastball that has been hit pretty hard. In all of last year, Rodney pitched 55 1/3 innings, 39 saves, 61 games for the Diamondbacks. And in those 55 1/3 innings, he only gave up 3 home runs. He's already given up 2, and they've both been walk-off home runs. Adam Jones of the Orioles, and of course Gary Sanchez of the Yankees on Thursday. Now 2-0. With a pull shift on for Kepler. The only Reds run came off the bat of Kepler, a home run back in the second. 3-0.
And coming off a tough outing his last time out, I think the last thing he wants to do, or the last thing he can do, is walk the leadoff hitter right here and bring the tying run to the plate.
And he missed on 4 pitches. Walks have been the bane of Rodney's career. It's always been an issue for him, but that hasn't been the biggest issue so far this year in his first with the Twins. All of them inside.
You'll probably see him throw a first pitch changeup right here. Those were all fastballs. He's going to go back to what his best pitch is, I think.
A swing and a miss. A dozen hits in 6 2/3 innings. That's been the issue. Opponent batting average of .375. But now a leadoff walk, and Duvall represents the tying run. Popped up, and it's over the Twins dugout. 0-2.
And there's that changeup right there.
It's what has separated him from other hard-throwing right-handed pitchers. It's a devastating changeup. We just have not seen much of it.
His arm action is so good. He throws it with so much conviction. He throws it with the same effort that he throws his fastball, and then all of a sudden it just dies as it before it gets to the plate and just dives under your bat.
Fastball wide of the plate. Duvall doubled his last time up. High fly, left center field. Lamar wants it. 1 down. And now Mesoraco will be pinch hit for. No, I beg your pardon, it is Mesoraco.
And like you said earlier, it's surprising how he hasn't been using his changeup as his best pitch. And he doesn't have a feel for it. He doesn't feel comfortable throwing it, whatever reason. And his fastball still is 93 to 96 miles an hour. It's not like he's doesn't have the velocity to get guys out.
Fastball to Sanchez was clocked at 97, but the Yankee Stadium gun, I've always felt, is a little bit hot. But the fastball is substantial enough. This is with the first pitch to Mesoraco, 1-0.
We'll see how much confidence he has in that changeup right here. So this is a good count to throw it in if he feels like he can throw it for a strike.
There's a strike, 2-1. Fastball. Barnhart's on deck. He apparently will hit for Hamilton. Difficult as his season has been this year, he came into the game with just 2 walks. Now he's walked 2 men in the 9th inning. 1 down, the tying run at first. And Barnhart is going to hit for Hamilton. And Herrera is running for Miseraco. Herrera represents the tying run now, with Rodney issuing 2 free passes in the 9th. Barnhart just hitting just 190 from the left side of the plate. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter this year.
And he was the only Red who didn't have a hit last night in that 20-hit attack they had. So hopefully we got the right guy at the plate right now.
Ball 1. 14 pitches for Rodney, only 4 strikes.
I think as a pitcher, you try and stay positive in this situation. You just got to tell yourself, I just need to make 1 pitch. 1 pitch can get you 2 outs right here.
Two and 0.
These being National League guys, they're a little more accustomed to pitch hitting. As opposed to the American League, you don't see as many moves, but with the pitchers and everything else going on, so it's not foreign to him to be up there pitch hitting in this situation.
There's a strike, 2 and 1. Told you I was hoping the game would end before the shadow crossed home plate.
I hope you're right here.
How about a 4-6-3? Fouled away. 2-2. The strikeout ability is still there. Coming into the game, Rodney 6 2/3 innings, 8 strikeouts. One of the Reds' best hitters, Jesse Winker, is on deck.
And I think at this point he'll take the outs any way he can get them. Strikeout, double play, pop up, whatever it is.
2-2. That's into center field. Dozier with a great catch. Oh, Brian Dozier may have saved the game with a tremendous catch in center field. 2 down.
That's a Gold Glove winner right there.
The bat splintering, and Dozier reaching and making the catch right in the webbing of the glove. 2 down, and here's Winker. You can see Barnhart's bat shattering, but he nearly got a blue base hit. Popped up. Escobar calling for it. And the Twins' losing streak ends at 8. The Twins win 3-1. Rodney with the save, and Anthony LaPanta Twins tomorrow will try to start building a winning streak.
Got to get the first one, and they got it today. Got a little sticky at the end, but Rodney nails it down, and the Twins beat the Reds 3-1. We'll show you how Jake Odorizzi restored order for the Twins on the mound. We'll hear from Paul Molitor next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink.